Where do you fucking stand?
How are we all?
Hey.
Good.
Hey, boys. How you going?
Going
Me and
good.
Jeff have
Going
just
good.
come up to talk shit till Chris gets his special guest to appear, and then we'll fuck off and let him talk. But till then, Chris, I guess you can tell the people what you're doing, bro.
Yeah, so we got a lad. He goes under the YouTube handle of Dr. Harley. His name is Rob. I think people on his chat refer to him as the Doc. He did it a number of years. I can't remember exactly because he had a bit of a break. He did a number of years. He was working with, I believe it was the 82nd Airborne, up until around 96, I think it was. And then he joined back up, don't quote me on this, around 2005 or 2006. And then he was a Chinook. I think he was a Chinook mechanical engineer, the head mechanical engineer. And g'day, Cedars, how are you, bro?
Don't even answer him, Sarge. Nah, don't even answer him. Don't. Nah. He can stay where he wants. He can stay there.
You can come up here, cunt. Get up here, Jesus.
Okay, I'm dropping off.
Yeah, get up here so you can show us your bowl.
Hey, Revenge. Hey, the Az Fish.
So just quickly, I think so. We're running this at this hour because I think he's in Connecticut. He's in America anyway. It'll be Saturday night for him.
Yeah.
It'll be Sunday for us, obviously. We're trying to link this up just so you can get an idea of the Americans' opinion against the Australians' opinion of, how they were. Chris and Doc or Rob or whatever you want to refer him to, they served in almost the same year but different seasons at the same place. So, pretty well when Chris left, Rob got there, and then Rob spent a lot of time with what is it, Chris?
Special Forces.
Special Forces, yeah. So,
yep.
He's got he spent a lot of time with Australian Special Forces at that. He's got a very big opinion, which is good. Like, it's nothing bad. But it's just very good to see their side, And you'll get Chris's opinion. And like I said, they've both got pictures from the same place and, memories and opinions. And so it'll be really good.
It's actually quite crazy because I've got like photos of when the runway was mud. I remember seeing the the C-17 coming down and the place has been dusted out for an hour, mate. And he's there, he's got a nice concrete runway. He's got like Carring Out Airport there. He goes, do you remember that sign? I'm like, that fucking sign wasn't there when I was there, bro. But that's fucking cool to see that, it escalated into that. So, we actually, we walked the same dirt, we rubbed shoulders and missed out by 2 months. I was leaving. The fighting season is like they're sort of mid-spring to the end of summer. That's when it's bucking on like Donkey Kong, right? And then when it gets cold there, they all fuck off through Tora Bora and over the Pakistani border, and they get into Qatar and Saudi Arabia, and they'll go on holidays. They take their families, and they go and party up with their mates. And then when it starts getting warm again, they head back into the border, and then they start giving us fucking hell all spring and summer again. So I was just leaving. He was coming in, but he was there for the whole year, I believe. So he would have maybe seen the winter into the fighting season. So I'm not too sure, though. And it's completely two different environments. Like the guys I'm taking over that have been there in the winter, haven't seen a fucking fighter in 6 months, mate. They got to show me photos of them snow skiing down the main drag at TK, and I'm just like, I can't even fucking relate. Because I'm there, it's 42 degrees, and every cunt wants to kill you, and I'm just like, what? How do you get time to ski down the main drag, bro? That's awesome.
Tobogganing? What tobogganing?
Yeah. Yeah, show me, they get the tide behind Bushmasters, mate, getting dragged on fucking, these dodgy, like, ski things they've done made out of forklift crates. Hey, who we got there? We got Vaxi. Hey guys, thanks for coming.
Chris, you know Vaxi and Ghost is tough, right?
No, is it? Are you
He's been there from day one, bro.
are you
Yeah, I've
fucking
always
bogan?
been around.
You fucking bogan, motherfucker. I say that to everyone, but I gotta give J mate his too.
So, Chris, I guess really people's attention at this hour. So, where's your screwball, brother?
Oh mate, I don't know if I can
Fucking
hit
hell,
that.
it's a bit early for a fucking screwball, Jack.
Let me just cruise into the Sunday with a few cool buckets, cunt.
Come on, Sarge. Uncle Sputtered say fucking get it up, yeah.
Don't listen to him, Zad.
You thought I was getting it. I left my cuppa on the carpet, cunt.
I'll give you 10 more minutes. You'll be like, righto.
Hey, Ash. Big love, girl.
And can I just say thank you to everyone that came over last night to Ash's live?
Hey?
Thank you to you and everyone else that appeared on Ash's live and come up.
Yeah.
And, you know.
Bloody hate showing support. That's how we get to grow it, get it out there, get the likes up, get the chat going. That's what gets it all going, I've noticed.
Yeah. That's what it's about.
It just takes a couple of conversations, you know what I mean? Like usually there's two going in the chat, you get one going up here, and once you get on a roll, it doesn't stop. You can. It's just getting your head to start talk. Yeah.
Yeah. And then once the chat starts going, that starts coming up in more people's lives, and then people start clicking and shit. And
oh, here she comes.
That's how we roll. So what we're doing, guys, is we're just hanging out, procrastinating. We're waiting for our old mate Rob, Dr. Harley, to come over, and we're just gonna fucking chop it up, chew the fat, talk stories. So I really want out of this, really, from Rob is his experience in Afghanistan, and I just really want him to comment on his experience dealing with Australians. So you can just get that first-hand, raw, not through a newspaper or some dude in front of a camera talking to the minions. It's just a guy fucking telling you how it was when he was working with Aussies, man. I think that's pretty cool perspective. I'm actually looking forward to it for you guys to hear it. Because all you've heard is that how good we are from me, and it's a pretty biased opinion. So it'd be good to hear it from another lad, and because I've heard him talk about Taff. I've heard him talk about how he goes, when the Australian commander just brought me in, he goes, it was so simple. My mission is like those things. Fucking get my soldiers in there, make sure they can fucking fly. They don't fall out of the sky. No worries. Don't let my choppers fall out of the sky. One job. Don't let my choppers fall out of the sky. Like this.
So I'm just going to cut you off here. I'm just going to text from Seetha. His dog's just given birth.
True. Right. Holy shit. Fucking hell. It's getting hectic for you today, mate. Oh my God, tonight's going to be a nightmare. Who the fuck is that?
So,
good luck, Siva.
Good luck and congrats on the misery you're about to go through.
Fuck, some dirty cunts up there doing fucking donuts and shit.
You're just jealous because it's not you.
Where's Jack? Oh, there he is. It's not you.
Yeah, I was about to say he's yours.
Righto. I'll have a couple buckets and just chill a bit here.
Yeah.
Did you say you're going to have a screwball?
What did you say?
You're going to
have a
I'm going to.
Dab.
I'm going to.
It's not. He won't concave to peer pressure, but he's going to do it.
Yeah, it's not peer pressure. I want to do it, cunts. All right.
He stopped asking, and now he's decided he wants.
All right, fucking stop it! I really want to do it. Get out of here.
Sarge, with how my lungs are at the moment, I wouldn't even dare go near a screwball. I'd fucking.
What's that, mate?
With how my lungs are at the moment, I wouldn't dare go near a screwball. I'd be coughing for that long.
Or how your lungs are now, make it 10 times worse, and that's how mine are every day normal.
Nah, fuck that. I couldn't even imagine that, eh?
Dude, fucking when I used to smoke durries, oh mate, I used to knock them back, bro. Like in a war zone, nearly 2.5 packs a day.
Yeah, you would be. You'd be stressed out, and also there's not much else to do when
Everyone does. Even people that don't smoke in a war zone, bro. Every cunt smokes. Because everyone's like, what, am I going to fucking die smoking? Is that what I worry about? Everyone's like,
Yeah.
but what spins me out is guys can smoke 2 packets a day for 9 months and still get to Australia, but don't touch a durry again. It's fucking insane.
Come on, Wilson.
Hey,
Morning,
Mick, how are
Wilson.
you, mate? Big love.
Frosty.
I was looking at
Morning,
your channel
Frosty.
last night, Frosty. Some of those bugs you got up there, mate. Oh my god! I was going to grab it out.
Sarge, you know it's crazy. I was literally watching his channel last night too. That's so weird, bro. Yeah,
How was
I
that?
was watching his.
Oh,
Bro, the I can't remember if it's. I think it's a short, and it's your most recent short. Fuck, the ones in the 10. Oh, that looks nice, bro. Yeah.
fucking Frosty, all right, mate. Frosty, understatement.
Has Frosty fixed his tan yet? Is he coming up?
What's that?
Has Frosty fixed his tan yet? Is he coming up?
He's tan.
Yeah, he had to fix his tan before he was coming up. It's getting warmer now.
Yeah, they are fucking Frosty, mate. Now I know why because you're Frosty. Fucking, it should be fucking mega Frosty. Oh, mega Frosty. Oh.
Mate, if there was wind in there and they fucking blew them fucking trees together, they'd stick together, the cunts.
They just self-well. You just got that bang well. Hey, I learned a thing. The other day. You know, if you touch steel in space in a vacuum, it instantly welds. You know that?
What? So if you put 2 bits of steel together, it welds. Well, I suppose it makes sense because how much like suction.
No, there's no vacuum. It's the cold. I think it's the cold. It's a cold weld because it's so cold. It's like minus 400 degrees Celsius or something out there.
Oh, so it freezes it together.
I think it's a cold weld, yeah.
Yeah,
Which is still fucking strong.
That's great. I didn't even know a cold weld was a thing, eh?
Oh, that's why Frosty can't come up. He's actually stuck in the tent between the plants at the moment. He can't fucking move.
Oh, is your internet fucking out or that?
I don't know what you just said, but you should
I
turn
think
off.
that might be yours.
Have you got Wi-Fi on or data on or everything off? Or
I'm going to turn data on. It's usually off. I'm going to fuck it. Give it options, but I don't know why I wouldn't pick Wi-Fi. Hey, George W. Kush.
As soon as you say more than one word, it's like.
No, I heard him clear then.
Did you? Must be me.
What? No, that was me doing that.
I can read lips.
Hey, have any of you guys watched any of that Joe Rogan Donald Trump interview, bro?
Huh? When did this happen?
Oh,
was this recent?
Friday, mate. Dude, it's only 18 hours old and it's like 20 million views or something.
Well, what? Donald Trump actually got on the Joe Rogan show.
Yeah, bro,
Donald
it's awesome.
Trump
I watched the first hour and a half, mate. This is going to get him elected. It's just fucking him and they're just chewing the fat, mate. And his policies, he's spitting out how he's going to do everything, mate, clear. It sounds fucking feasible. It's,
so Joe Rogan basically gave him a fair debate that he didn't get.
No, he just gave him a mic.
In the debate, like, because in that debate...
But Joe Rogan, you know how Joe is. If G thinks he's talking shit, he calls him up on it straight away. He's like, no, sir, your actual quote was boom, and hold him to it. But Trump does a great job, mate. It's probably the best interview I've ever watched of Trump. because it's 3 hours. He's been sitting there for 3 hours, and Joe Rogan is really good questions, mate. Like, what was it like on your very first day when you walked into the White House? And he said, "Fuck, it was surreal." Because this place was like, like something I looked up to and I admired. And the first thing I wanted to see the Lincoln bedroom, where President Lincoln last left. And I didn't know there was a fucking room like that.
Dr. Harley,
Here we go. Dr. Harley's in the house. Hey, mate, I just started it because I know you finished there early, mate. So I thought we'll just start it and I'll just choose the board. And when you're ready to come up, mate, you can just jump on up. And we can have a chat. I'll just have a quick 420.
Hey, or someone in the chat with a spanner, if they could grab Dr. Harley's link and drop it in the chat for us, I'd muchly appreciate it.
That would be really appreciated. Yeah, if you can put his link there. He's doing some cool shit over in his channel.
Once it's there, I'll pin it for the duration of the live. Oh, thank you, Al.
Yeah, we've got about 16 people in the house, Doc, but it's at last minute. We'll do really good on the rewatches. I think I've been getting like over 650 rewatches on like a fucking 9-hour video. So
I think being a Sunday here too, that you'll have the I think a fair few people will roll in once they realise you're up.
Did you just
put it that hard? Did you just drop it, Taff?
Yeah, and it is relatively normally not early to your normal time.
Here we are. So what I'm going to do is, guys, me and Taff are going to fuck off, and I'm going to let Dr. Harley and Sarge talk. So enjoy, fellas.
Thanks, Jack. Thanks, Taff. I appreciate you guys.
Oh, I get on, they leave. What the fuck?
Good evening, mate. How are you?
Damn.
Can you hear me all right?
We're in the OR, man. Just finished up that bike. We chatted for a few minutes, and now he's on his way out, But there's the chopper.
Yeah, I'll just make that big there, mate. Let me just... There it is, guys. This is what he's building. Dr. Harley Rob, he's building this. And explain what you're going to do with it, mate.
Well, what I'm doing is I'm building this off of donations, and I'm giving it to a veterans organization. It's called Homes for the Brave here in the United States in the state of Connecticut. And what they do is they take in homeless veterans that are on the street or just getting out of prison because they didn't do things right and, because they got hooked on drugs and alcohol. And I'm building it and I'm giving it to them to raffle off so they can help more homeless veterans. At this moment, they have 5 houses here in the state of Connecticut, but they're helping veterans not just in Connecticut, but all over the tri-state area. And their clients come from the VA. The clients come from prisons, halfway houses, clean and sober living places, and things like that. And what they do, what's up, SNS? What they do is, they help them get clean and sober, get them off the drugs and alcohol. They help convert their military experience to civilian words. Because if you go to apply for a job and you said, I was a squad leader with the 2nd Battalion, 39th Infantry, most civilian places like, what the fuck does that mean? So they sit there and says, okay, you were a first-line supervisor in charge of 1 or 2 team leaders that each team leader had 4 to 5 people. So you were a first-line supervisor for 12 people. You oversaw your day-to-day activities, and you shifted your you adjusted to critical thinking when the problems arose. So they help them rewrite their resumes so when they apply for a job, these civilians could sit there and understand what they did in the military, what the experiences they have, what they have. Thank you. I appreciate it, man. So I really dig what they do. I've been a big supporter of this organization since 2011 when I found them. And how can you not want to support a not-for-profit organization like that, and they are not federally funded. The federal government does not give them any money,
Uh, uh,
to help veterans because they get it through. If the VA sends them people, the VA sends for the bed, pays for the bed, but they don't give a annual stipend. And if anybody's really wanted to really dig in, I had Vince Antonelli, the CEO of Homes for the Brave, on my channel when we started talking about doing this project. So, I mean,
I was actually watching, Rob. I was actually watching that video, mate, before I come up in your live this morning. Yeah, I was actually watching that.
Right on. Appreciate that. And Vince is a great dude. I got, some super chat money that night, and I says, hey, I'm going to get you this money, do a cookout or something. He goes, no, put it towards the chopper bill. And that's exactly what I did.
That's amazing, mate. That's noble, mate. Actions speak louder than words. You're helping fellow veterans, mate. I really appreciate that, man. From us Australians over here, what you're doing there, mate. That's amazing, Rob. That's unreal, man. And I want to thank you for your service too, buddy.
Thank you for your service. I mean, I back up the shit I talk. I am my brother's keeper, and I got your 6. And I mean it. And I'm a firm believer of vets helping vets, because if we don't help each other, nobody's going to help a vet.
Yeah,
now
bro.
that we're out of Afghanistan and, other stuff is not being politically used or, televised, vets are now forgotten. Nobody cares.
Yep. It's a shame. And when Rob mentions the VA guys for the Australians in the chat, that's Veteran Affairs. That's who they deal with, their government organisation that helps the vets, or is supposed to be there for them. In Australia, in Australia,
it's a full hospital. It's
Yeah.
a full hospital, and they have specialty doctors. You have a primary care doctor. They have an ER. They have everything like a regular hospital. But in order to use it, you have to be a veteran with a honorable discharge.
G'day, JD.
So-
G'day, Woody.
What's up,
Yeah,
Izzy?
and
So,
in Australia, it's called the Department of Veteran Affairs. It's not quite like that. It's an government organisation, but then they feed you to the doctor, then they get the money and they send you to the hospital or to the whatever you need that way. But it's the same thing. You got veterans here on the side of the highway living in tents, mate. It fucking breaks my heart, mate. It just breaks my heart. And then they go to the Department of Veteran Affairs, and then they're like, prove that your mental illness is since your service, that you haven't abused yourself since you've been. And then why do they want to fucking fight then? It's just like the whole system's kicking them in the balls. They're homeless, so people don't give two fucks about them. They don't know who they are, because we don't have like a veterans. When you walk around Sydney and Melbourne and Brisbane and the main streets over here, Rob, we don't have a similar type of environment where there's a veteran holding a sign saying, please help, or homeless vet. The civilians over here don't really see that like that. The veterans are sort of in the bush, 30 meters off the highway, down a gully. You know what I mean? They're in places where civilians aren't out. They're not like in the city, in the streets. It's sort of not like that over here. And it's really hard to get in the DVA. They've got people in there that have no understanding of what it's like to even serve in the fucking military, let alone go overseas and deal with the shit some of these young fellas are dealing with. And they're just there, nah, you're not ticking that box. I don't, and it's fucking bullshit. It's just bullshit.
Yeah.
And
so I got a great tip tonight. I got a great tip tonight from this guy. I love it when clients, he's a subscriber to my channel, also a member of my channel. And, he came in, we did work on his bike tonight, and he gave me a hell of a tip.
Oh, beautiful. Look at that.
Hey.
I wish I was there to have a shot with you, mate.
Oh, yeah. But, in the VA, they're a teaching hospital here in Connecticut. They teamed up with colleges that have medical students and things like that. And, I suffer from chronic severe PTSD. And I went and I met one of their therapists. And, God, she had to be at least 22, 23 years old. And
Wow.
the first words out of her mouth was, I understand what you're going through. I really feel for you. And, it's not an easy thing. And I sat there and said, really? You were downrange? No. You served in the military? No. So how the fuck do you know what I'm going through? Because you read it in a book? You don't know shit. And I got up and walked out. I said, I need another doctor.
That's how it goes. Most times, brother, it's no different fucking here too, mate. It took me like a fucking year and a half till I could trust a psychiatrist, and they finally got me to a guy that specialised in military fucking trauma. And mate, that changed my fucking life. He really did change my life. Malcolm Fox often.
14 different behavioral health meds, and they were keeping me in a state of anger and a state of being pissed off.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Yeah, I can relate.
And I left the VA system. I went to a civilian, and I met this guy. And I tell you, I walk into his office. There's pictures of him in Afghanistan. There's pictures of him in Iraq. He was a psychiatrist downrange, but he was still downrange.
Right.
So I'm looking around going, right on. This is a guy who's been there. He's done that. He knows.
Yep.
And the first thing he said to me goes, you were at the VA. I says, yep. And screw those guys. I'm not going back. And he goes, all right, I need to see a list of your meds. I says, behavioral health or all total? He goes, just the behavioral health meds. I reach in my pocket, says, here you go. He's looking at it going, are they trying to keep you insane and angry and pissed off and short and everything? I'm like, I hope not. He goes, well, they are with these meds. Every single one of them counteracts each other, or the prominent side effect of this one med is edginess and quick to temper.
That's the last thing a veteran with trauma, PTSD or needs, mate. You know what I mean? They need love, care, and attention, mate.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy.
It is, mate. It is, and because they wanted to put me on. Sorry, mate. They wanted to put me on benzos and fucking all these because I didn't want to get anything that would be addictive. I didn't want to end up in the fucking street like my mates. You know what I mean? I'm thinking I've got to fucking fix myself some fucking how. And I'm going, no, I don't want to do these benzos, cunts. I see people getting fucked up on them and they end up on meth. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. So over the years, mate, I've come down to, I take a bit of Seroquel at night time. That helps with my nightmares. And I use marijuana, mate. That's what I find best for me. It keeps me creative. It keeps me level. Fucking oath.
Working on bikes, man, that's what keeps me level because I get to focus on something and I have a finished product. And you saw it tonight where something's not working out. I'm starting to get a little frustrated. I said, all right, I'm going to stop, take a break.
Yeah, I watched that. Yep.
And, in the back of my mind, I'm working the problem because as NCOs and leaders in the military, we're always constantly working the problem. You might not see it. We might not talk about it, but our brains are conditioned for that.
100%, mate. Fucking oath.
And what was it? Less than 2 minutes later, I had a solution to the problem that worked, that got the bike done. And, I thank the military for that because, and everybody says in your videos, you don't really show what it's like working in the shop. You're not swearing. You're not throwing wrenches. I don't do that. I pay a lot of money for my tools. And number one, and number two, I don't want to lose them because I don't want to buy them again.
Touche. No, mate, that's awesome, mate. That's really, really cool.
Yeah.
So tell me, mate. So when did you first find out when you got your your mission deployment, mate, and you started your pre-deployment training, mate, that you were going to be working in an Australian province and be working with Australians? When did you find that out, mate?
All right. So we just got home from Iraq in 2010.
Right.
And we started getting brand new helicopters, brand new, right from Boeing, 0 flight hours.
Oh,
I mean, when I looked at my logbook of my helicopter, it said the 25-hour inspection was due at 25 flight hours. I mean,
Yeah.
I took ownership of this helicopter. It had 10 hours on the whole airframe. The
Wow.
motors, the transmissions, everything. It had that brand new fresh Chinook smell. And I'm sitting there going,
stuff.
I'm looking around, and I'm just an E5 at the time. And I'm looking around going, this is not good. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, the state of Connecticut and the federal government are giving us $18 million aircraft.
Mm.
I says, they're going to deploy us again to put this aircraft to work. I'm like,
Right.
no. 3
Right.
months later, we got our mobilization orders.
You saw it coming, right? You saw it. You saw the picture that was being presented, mate. You're like, okay, we're
Yep.
going.
And of
We're
course,
going
the
back.
commander's like, no, don't feed into the rumor mill. Don't feed into the rumor mill. And when I moved up in rank and become a senior leader, and the reason why they didn't want that information out is they didn't want people to start and like, oh, not re-enlisting or let's start my discharge and whatever,
Right.
for retention.
Right.
But I'm sitting there going, yeah, but at the same time, these soldiers could sit there and say, all right, I got things I got to take care of with my full-time employer. I got to get my family organized. I got to get my house organized because if I'm going to be gone for a year, things have to be put in place with their civilian employment, with their family, not just their wife and kids, but their parents. You know what I mean? So a lot of things have to happen. And the more time people have to prepare, the better off they're going to be downrange. Because I had a lot of first-time employers going with me to Afghanistan.
Right.
I would say 85% of our company, these guys have never deployed.
Okay.
So, I mean, first-time deployers.
Yep. And so they've got anxiety, they don't know what to expect, they're excited, they're up and down, they're overzealous. You got to try and manage all that, mate, because you've been there, done that. You got to make sure they hit the flow point in country and they don't peak too early. You've got to manage all that stuff.
Yeah, and you sit there and you want to, make that transition as easy as possible.
Exactly. Yeah.
I just came back, like I said, I just came back from Iraq. That was supposed to be a 12-month deployment, and that ended up being 18 months. We ended up being in transient housing for 7 months. Huh?
18 months straight?
Yeah.
Wow, that's way too long. Fuck.
Well, what happened was
too long in country.
Yeah. Well, what happened was the unit that was supposed to replace us was another National Guard unit.
Right.
Well, they failed to get validated by the big army. So they did not pass the soldier tasks. They didn't pass the flying tasks. They didn't pass their administrative tasks. They didn't pass a lot of it. So they got turned off. You guys are not going. Go home. You're 8 up from the bottom up.
Wow. Mate. That fucking sucks.
So, we already gave up our housing, and we're in transient housing in Iraq and Talil. So we're literally in these giant tents sleeping on cots, and we're aviators, and we have to have 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep per the Army regulations. Well, when you're in a 60-man tent, and you got day shift, night shift,
it's fucked.
You're going to be exhausted. You're not sleeping well because you're on a cot in a sleeping bag, and you already packed all your comfort shit to send home, when you move into training housing.
Sandwich.
Yeah, it was a soup sandwich. And the best part is, here it is, Christmas Eve, we're watching AFN, and here's our command staff back in Pennsylvania, saying what a great successful deployment they had, that 100% of the 104th Aviation is back in the States. We looked at each other and said, so what are we? We're the Chinook company. We're stuck here.
Fucking pricks. See, that's I think Australians will find the fact that you said that some guys have to take care of their civilian jobs. See, we don't deploy reservists over here or that. We don't have a National Guard type where we can sort of compare. we have the Army, Air Force, and Navy. We have full time, and then we have reservists. And the reservists don't deploy outside Australia. They do little local things. But so when you hear somebody that might have done the National Guard, so they're doing. See, this is amazing. You listen to this chat. So these guys have got a full-time job, plus they're volunteering and dedicating their life. You know, spare times. If they got to deploy, they drop everything now. They go to their fucking, put their greens on, put their camouflage on, and now they're fucking military training to go and deploy.
Yeah.
So, that's extra for us. Whereas, I'm a fully paid soldier. I don't have to worry about a full-time job or any of those other distractions. So these guys have got all that, and so they're still volunteer, mate. See, that's fucking patriotism, mate. That's patriotic, mate. That's unreal.
And and most of the guys, I'll be honest with you, join the National Guard because if you go to a state college, the National Guard eats that tuition.
Right.
So they don't pay any tuition while they go to a state college. And in Connecticut, one of the top schools in the country is UConn.
Right.
Yeah, in athletics and in academics. So a lot of our soldiers are UConn students.
So that's when you hear them say they use the GI Bill. That's what they're talking about.
No,
that's
not. No, that is a tuition remission because you are a state employee in the Connecticut National Guard. So you have a tuition remission you could use to pay for your college, and then you still have your post 9/11 GI Bill.
Oh, right. So you can use that on something else. Can you use further education, or can you put the GI Bill towards something else?
You could use it towards a master's degree or a doctoral degree. You could use it.
It's going to be further education.
Yeah, I mean, I have my GI Bill. I work for a prominent university, and I get free tuition working there. It's a private university. I get free tuition. My wife gets free tuition. So I had this GI Bill that paid me my housing allowance, which was $3,000 a month tax free.
Wow.
So I went to school at night to learn about heating and air conditioning for 18 months. And for 18 months, I got paid $3,000 a month on top of my regular paycheck, on top of my drill check, So
that's something got right there. They got that right, haven't they? That's good.
Yeah.
But does everybody cash in on that though? Like, do people get to use that? Like, people wouldn't have the opportunity. Imagine young soldiers that come back, they're broke, they just don't have that vision in front of them, and they miss out on that, or they don't use it.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things I did with my soldiers. When I was a platoon sergeant and I ran my maintenance platoon, is while we were deployed, I would talk to them. What are your plans post deployment? I know you're going to go on vacation. I go to vacation, and what I do for family reintegration with my wife is for every month I spent downrange or away from her was a day we spent somewhere in Jamaica or Dominican Republic or Mexico, someplace
beautiful
outside our home, outside the stresses of life. So all we have is each other and this amazing setting is to reconnect as a couple.
And you need to decompress as well in a safe
environment. Oh, absolutely. And, all inclusive with open bars. I mean, come on.
No, we do the same thing.
That's the plan I always had because she puts up with a lot while I'm gone. She's taking care of the house. She's taking care of all the bills. She's taking care of everything. And she was also going to school at night on top of it. So when I came back, it was not just a vacation for me. It was a vacation for her to decompress, for me to decompress. And then we talk about, hey, when we get back home, after this, we're going to have to work together on some things. And that's when we hash out a lot of the plans. It's a lot easier to do that in a setting of the Caribbean, of palm trees and white sand and crystal blue water with a cocktail in your hand than it is to sit at the kitchen table in your house and do it, because now you have all that stress right in your face.
And do you find that, plus, since you've gone, is your wife or your partner, mate?
My wife.
your wife. So I called my wife. I called the ladies that support us guys that went over there, mate, the silent ranks. They do the time with us. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like I try to tell the guys in the chat too, while I'm away, when I was away first time in Iraq, my children were fucking 3 on 1. And I left my wife with 3 days notice, bang, straight into fucking Iraq. And she's got to pay the bills, mow the lawn, take the kids to fucking daycare. She's got to look after what she's doing. She's doing the washing. She's cleaning the fucking house. She's worrying whether her husband's going to fucking come home or not. You know, like,
Yep.
I really state that, you know, the women, they're like, mate, I couldn't have my career, my successful career, without the fucking woman that stood behind me, mate, and supported me. Mate.
Absolutely. Same here. I wouldn't be as successful in the military or in life in general without the support of my wife. I mean, she's my everything. You know, I can't do anything I don't want to do anything without her. You know, I told when I was in the club, when I started prospecting for the 1% Club, I told them right up front, look, my wife and I are a package deal. If you don't like that, let me know and I won't prospect.
Yep.
They're like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, you know, if the wife can't come, I get it. But if she can come, she's going to be here. And it won't interfere with me working as a prospect. Because I already prospected for another club. I know what work has to get done. You know, keeping
Right.
the clubhouse clean and all that. She actually came up and helped me clean the clubhouse. She prospected as much as I did.
So, Rob, so you've been told you've got these brand new airframes. You can see that you're going to be heading into Afghanistan. When is it the point you get told you go into a different, like, it's because Orange province really isn't a type of province where Americans would occupy. It was sort of dedicated to the Australian deployment. So
We were told our company of 14 aircraft, we got split in two. One half of the company went up to Bagram, and they said parts of that element will be going to FOB Salerno, and a few other FOBs. And
Right.
we were told we're going to be flying into Kandahar. We're going to get our aircraft in Kandahar. We're going to get our LAOs, local area orientation, you know, for the battle handoff to take over for the unit we replaced. And we were moving we were told at that time in Fort Hood, like 30 days prior of getting on the plane, flying over, that we will be in FOB Tarin-Kowt. So we start looking up online, FOB Tarin-Kowt, and there was, at that time in 2012, there was a lot of videos on YouTube of FOB Tarin-Kowt, and a lot of it was of Camp Holland.
Right.
And we were in Camp Cole, but hey, they got a
Yep.
green beans, they got PX, there's a bazaar, they got a gym, they have, you know, the USO, they have a lot of stuff there that soldiers will have on their downtime to use stuff. Hey, good morning. Good morning to you.
G'day, Aussie Prison Talk, Jarhead, Jimmy, Banana. Just say quick good day to everybody that just popped in here. Woodsy Ghost, Banana. Thanks, guys, for popping in. Appreciate you.
Time for coffee now, man. Time for some Maker's Mark.
Yeah. So for who just dropped in, Rob's in Connecticut in the US of A, and it's about what 10 o'clock at night there, mate.
8:10, just after 8 p.m.
Just
on
after
Saturday.
8. There you go. And it's 10 o'clock Sunday morning here, so not too bad timing actually.
Hey, cheers to you and your team.
Thanks, brother. I'm having a Billy. So
It's kind of early for you guys to be drinking. Because what time is it there Sunday morning?
10 a.m.
10 a.m.?
Yeah, 10:00.
Maybe an Irish coffee.
Actually, for most of the chat, it'd be 11 p.m. because we have daylight savings now. We're coming into summer, so it's 10 where I am, and it'd be 11 o'clock where the rest of the guys are.
Yep. So when
G'day,
we get down to Tarin-Kowt, we get settled in Camp Cole, and as a matter of fact, I'm going to turn this around. I want to show you this flag I got. This flag right there, that Harley Davidson flag, that came out of the Camp Cole Chapel in Tarin-Kowt, Afghanistan. Believe
Yeah,
it or
right.
not.
Yeah.
And they were
how long did
shutting
that
down
last?
the base. They were shutting down the base, or tearing out at the end, and the chaplain looks at me and says, "Hey, you're a Harley Davidson guy. Do you want this flag?" I says, "Absolutely." Now, on the bottom of the flag, it says the Harley shop in Longview, Texas. So I was like, all right, right on. And it's signed by other employees and all their customers and all that. So when I got home, I reached out to the Harley shop in Longview, Texas. And I says, hey, I got this flag. It was hanging up in the Camp Cole Chapel in Tarakal, Afghanistan. I was a soldier deployed there, and the chaplain gave it to me. Do you guys want this flag back? And their response is, no, it was given to a soldier. It needs to stay with a soldier. You keep it. I'm like, oh, right on. Thank you.
Fucking awesome.
So I hang it up in my shop.
That's awesome, mate. So would have
Yeah.
been, how long did that fly in the chapel there? A couple of years?
A chaplain said it for about, well, it was there when he got there, and maybe it was there for about 3-4 years, I think.
Yeah,
Hanging up
I
in
would
the
have.
chapel.
I would have walked in there. I would have walked under it. I would have passed it. I would have seen it. It was there because I was there 2010 and 2012.
Yeah. But you were at Camp Highland. You didn't have no reason to come to Camp Cole.
No, but I used to go down there all the time just to go and hang out and talk to the Yanks and, eating their mess and just chill with you blokes, because all the Apache pilots were down there, mate, and they were fucking mad cunts. They were fucking mad cunts. I love going down there, mate. Like, rockets would be coming flying in, and they're not meant to go out there until the rockets stop. The first rockets would be hitting the base, bro, and they'll be straight in there winding them birds up trying to find the heat signatures of where the rockets are coming from. Fuck, I love those blokes, bro. Yeah, I used to love
They
going
had
down there. So I spent a bit of
that
time down
big
there.
fucking blimp they put up with all that technology shit.
Yeah.
That thing was huge.
Bro, in 2010 we never had that, and we got that in 2012. We deployed that in there, and
Oh, no
like that
kidding.
camera, some of the shit that camera could see nearly 20 kilometers up that valley, up the Sharkop Valley. You could see a
Yeah.
long way there. But
Yeah, right on.
and this used to get shot at all the time, and fucking, I think the one at Fob Hadrian got loose in a storm, and it landed in the middle of the village, and then they go and do emergency recovery mission because there's all the sensitive technology on it, and
Yep.
yeah, the weird thing to see. I've never seen those blimps before. We never had them in
Yeah.
Iraq. Not when I was there.
It's the first time I saw them too. I didn't see them in Iraq. And when I went back to Afghanistan and 15 and 16, they didn't have them either. They had the
Yeah, right.
Phelan system in Bagram, which is a pretty cool system. They're automated guns that lock onto a heat signature of an incoming, and they just rained lead at it, bullets to
Like
shoot
a
it
mini
out of the
C-ram.
sky.
Like a mini
Yeah.
C-ram.
Yep.
Mm.
And
We-
those fucking things are loud, man. Those things go off and sound, here.
Vibrates
And
every
1,000 rounds like that.
Yeah.
Fast. I was like, holy shit.
When we were there, we had a shitty Dutch one, mate, and it would never fucking work, mate. It would never work. The siren would go, and we're like, fuck the siren off, so we can hear which way the rockets are coming. You can tell which direction to run, because you can actually, as they're getting louder, you go, fuck, go that way, lads. So
I
yeah.
used to love the announcements that came over the loudspeaker in TK. Attention on the fob. Attention on the fob. Pirate. For the alarm. Incoming.
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 Yeah.
Oh, I got home from Tarakal, Afghanistan, and I had a tenant. We owned a 2-family at the time. I had a tenant on the first floor. I had a car alarm. And the car alarm went off, and it was intruder alert, intruder alert. I was like, what the fuck? I jumped down I grabbed my weapon, I cock locked it. What the fuck is going on? My wife's like, that's the car alarm for our tenant. I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, after hearing all that shit for 10 months in Tarakal, I come home and that's what I hear. That was like my first night home.
So you've researched Tarakal. You're like, all right, Camp Holland. Okay, that's Australian. Wonder what did you know what your mission status was then, or were you still wondering what was going on? And when and then when
I
you
knew,
landed,
I
yeah,
knew what our mission set was going to be. Our mission set was to support the Australian and American Special Forces doing delivered ops.
all right,
And so I pulled my guys aside and said, all right, guys, here's the deal. We're going to be working very closely with some special operations guys, some real high speed dudes. And we got to make sure our aircraft fly. And then when we get into country, we got into country midday and we got set up. And then the next morning, I had to go to a senior leaders meeting over in Camp Holland with your commander of the Australian Special Forces, the commander of the American Special Forces. Everybody gave their speech and said what they had to say. Well, the commander for the Australian Special Forces, he gets up, he goes, "Who's my maintenance platoon sergeant?" I said, "That's me, sir." He goes, "Your job is simple." I said, "Oh, yes, sir, it is, but not really." He goes, "No. If your birds don't fly, my guys die. Plain and simple. I don't want my guys to die. Make sure your birds fly." I said, "Got it. Every time you need a bird, there'll be a bird available."
fuck yeah,
My company commander looks at me and goes, "That's a bold statement." I says, "I got faith in my team. They'll take care of these aircraft. Trust me." And every time you guys needed a bird for an insertion or extraction or a quick evac, they were in the air.
Mate. 100% reliable. There every fucking time. Solid as a rock, mate. Doesn't fucking matter, bro. Yeah, mate. I can't speak highly of the guys that I got to operate with over there, man. You know, the Apaches and the Blackhawks are just the Chinooks, mate. Unbelievable, mate. Operation. It's Did you ever end up traveling you probably wouldn't have because you had your own airframes, but did you ever have to like nip into Kandahar and have to jump on a C-130 or something like that at all?
Yeah,
Did you ever travel with the Australian?
I actually had to leave country, come home on emergency leave. My mom had a medical condition, and I was required to be there to help her.
Right.
And that was at the end of April, early May of 2013. I jumped on one of our Chinooks, and they brought me to Kandahar. And from Kandahar, I jumped on a C-17 to go to Manas. From Manas, I jumped on a civilian flight and made my way home.
Right.
And that was like 36 hours of traveling.
Yeah, fuck yeah, mate. It's in the middle of, mate. It's in Afghan in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
For both of us, you know, it's miles away from Australia. It's miles away from the US.
Yep. So when on my way back, I got back to Kandahar, and I was trying to get back to TK, and there were no flights going into TK. Well, I seen the civilian, the CH-46 is flying there all the time. So I was like, let me go check with them.
Is that the civilian version of a Chinook?
Yeah, but it's the smaller one with the single front wheel.
Right, the white one. That's I think I might have done a trip. One of the photos I did, and you said that was one of those, wasn't it? In the photo I showed you, one of the photos
So they're like, no, we got nothing going in a couple of days. I'm already on the flight manifest to go down. I called my unit, said, hey, you guys got any birds coming up this way? You know, because I'm here. And they're like, nope, we don't. I said, all right, cool. So I walked over to the Aussies and I says, hey, you guys got any flights going into TK? He says, no, you fucking Americans took our mission away. I said, okay, no problem. So then I just sat in Kandahar for, 3 days waiting on a flight to get down there. I finally got down there in a civilian 2-prop airplane. They were, contracted and stuff like that. And I flew in. I got off the plane and, duffel bag dragged it over to my chew.
Right. Start Groundhog Day.
Yep. And I went right to work. I got there, unpacked, went right to work.
Yep. Okay, so when you finally got in there in your operation, so what was it like when you first worked with your first lot of Australians? How did you take that? How was your team? What did you expect, and how was your experience with that?
I worked with special operations in the past in Iraq and up in Canada. I worked with the Canadian and Jamaican special forces. I never knew Jamaica had a military, never mind special forces. But I worked with those guys. But in Iraq, we worked with a bunch of high-speed guys called Delta. I think you heard of them.
Delta Force, yeah, very familiar with Delta Force.
Yep, and we were doing an airborne assault with them, and we were dropping them off, and they had these high-speed buggies inside of our helicopter, with machine guns mounted on them and grenade launchers and all that. I'm like, man, these things are cool. And I'm on the ramp, so we're coming in to the right outside of Fort Gary Owen, where we're dropping these guys off.
Yep.
I'm like, I don't know why you just don't drop them off in Gary Owen, but they want to get dropped off out in the middle of nowhere to do what they had to do. So I put the ramp level. The red light is on. We're about 10 feet off the ground. They saw the ramp level. They left. They didn't even wait for a green light. We were 10 feet off the ground, and these four-wheelers are gone, man. And I'm like, I got on the ICS system. I talked to the pilot. I said, ramp's coming up. He goes, what do you mean it's coming up? We're not landing. It's like, they're gone. He goes, what do you mean they're gone? They saw the ramp level, so they left. We used to fly with the ramp up, not all the way, but 2/3 of the way up. This way we had a longer engagement time with our 240.
Right.
But on that mission, I didn't mount the ramp gun because it would have inhibited the mission. So I sat out there with my M4, and so I really expected, we're going to be landing in some hot places. We're going to be picking up guys in some extremely hot places because you guys like to go into town and stir up a hornet's nest. I remember coming back from one extraction we did. You guys went into this small little village and store up a hornet's nest to go after an HVT and all that shit, a high value target. For guys who don't know what HVT is, and we're sitting there, we're coming in for a landing, and literally 2 feet after my door gun on the left side, we took a bullet in the airframe, and it went through the skin and hit a stringer.
Wow!
Ended up being a 50 cal musket ball round. These guys, whatever they can have, they will take and shoot.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You guys stirred up the hornet's nest.
Because that always come with a lot of bodyguards, mate. A HVT would roll in, mate, and he'd roll with 50, 60, even up to 100, depending on the man. And especially if it's a famous suicide or a IED builder, and he's coming in to spread the knowledge. Those guys used to travel around with with a lot of guys. So
yeah, a lot of guys, and they're good at force multiplying. Which is the job of special operations, is to force multiply with the locals. But the way they do it is not an honorable way, in my opinion,
Yeah, so so how did you find the demeanor of the guys? How did you find their demeanor, or how did you find, I suppose, their professionalism as a soldier? What did you experience?
My experience with the Australian guys, they were very professional. They knew how to decompress and cut loose and have a good time. I was telling you a story the other day on one of your lives where I was in the gym working out, and there's a bunch of your blokes sitting there working out, and they're grabbing this, I won't say a dumbbell, but a weight bar. And I don't know the correct terminate, but they had 150 pounds at least of weights on it, and they're like, "Hey, fucker, catch," and they're tossing it at each other. And I'm like, they're gonna knock each other out. This is hilarious. And they're some of the funniest guys. I mean, I sat down at the chow hall. I went over to Camp Holland's chow hall one time. It was really good. And
it was good food there.
Oh yeah, better than we had over at Camp Cole, I can tell you that. I went over there. I sat down. It was an empty table because I'm the type of person, I don't bother anybody.
Right.
and a bunch of your guys came over and sat down, asked me who I was, what I do, and I said, well, I'm Staff Sergeant Robert Chop. I'm the maintenance platoon sergeant, flight engineer for the Chinook helicopters. And they're like, oh, no shit, we fly on your birds all the time. We're talking back and forth, and we had such a great time. That half-hour lunch ended up being like 3 hours.
Oh, awesome.
Thank God it was my day off.
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah. Which are few and far between.
Well, I ran my policy for my guys was you're going to get 1 day off a week, period. That's the day you're going to call home. You're going to write letters. You're going to go to the gym. You're going to do your laundry. You're going to take care of yourself and your family to the best of your ability. And I used to play a game with the guys, all about Chinook trivia because they were maintainers. And all they knew was, hey, I have to change this part. The book says how to do it. So I follow the book and I change the part and I do the write-ups. We get inspected. It's done. But I want them to understand what is the part they're replacing? What does it do? How does it work? And how does it affect other systems? So what I'm doing is I'm training my maintainers to go from being a mechanic to a crew chief. And they're like, well, we were going to do that. So that's too bad because I was going to do it like a Chinook Jeopardy, that the winner of Chinook Jeopardy gets an extra day off that week. And you get to pick that day. So if you're off on Mondays, you can have Sunday, Monday off, or Monday, Tuesday off. Or you could pick any other day you want. And at that point, they're like, really? I'm like, yeah, but you guys don't want to do it. So we're going to be here working. We got nothing to do, but we could be out here doing something. And they're like, oh, we want to play. We want to play. So that's the type of leader I am. I'm going to make you work and I'm going to expand your knowledge and teach you something. No matter where we are, but I'm also going to reward you with something.
I can know. Yeah.
Oh, my senior leadership hated that because they're like, the fuck, where's so-and-so? His day off. Did he just have a day off? Yeah, but he earned this one. How did he earn it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And I explained it to him. I said, if you don't like it, too fucking bad. That's how I run my platoon. I said, are your aircraft missing missions because of maintenance? No, then leave me alone.
Yeah, mate. So I can relate so much. Except I wasn't as nice as you, mate. I'd give him, I think I'd give him an hour and a half on a Friday night to ring home and sort that out, and then I'd give him fucking like an early knock off on a Sunday if it wasn't too busy, because I'd have them going over there. Because we'd be, mate. I was like, were you familiar with all the fobs around Afghan, like Fob Hadrian, Fob Wiley, Fob Salkbeard?
Yeah, well, I flew into those, Fob Leatherneck.
Yep. What was the other one? Mirrorwise.
Yep. And Fob
scattered up the valleys,
Yep.
So I spent a lot of time, fucking in and out of the fobs all over the place. So when we had downtime, I was going through TTPs and SOPs and changing, see what the environment was changing, see what we need to change, what extra gear we need to take. So,
well, your role was a lot different from my role, because my role was to support the flight mission with maintenance and be a flight engineer at the same time. So when my guys, we had brand new aircraft. I mean, literally brand new.
I know.
We had to pull an inspection early to satisfy Big Army, because they're like, you don't have a 200-hour maintenance. I said, we don't have one helicopter that has 200 hours on it to pull the maintenance. We ended up pulling a 200-hour maintenance on an aircraft with 150 hours on it.
You're right.
Just to satisfy Big Army, so their flow charts looked good.
Right.
So there really wasn't a lot of, small things that need to be repaired in the aircraft. There wasn't a lot of big maintenance items that had to happen. It was, as things happened maintenance-wise, we handled it, we took care of it, and it was done. As aircraft got battle damage, we wrote it up, got sheet metal involved, and, they fixed it, and the aircraft was ready to fly next day. We had 4 aircraft. 1 aircraft was always in a phase, which is a major inspection. which was
Right.
done up at Candlebar by
Yep.
the 603rd ASB, Aviation Support Battalion.
Right.
And then we just did all the line maintenance right there on the flight line. So we would have all our tugs and AGPUs and all that right there. And we would do all the maintenance we needed to do. And myself and a couple others, I got licensed to fire up the APU so we could have aircraft power to do some follow-on maintenance inspections, like power on checks and things like that.
All right. So when you were there, the local, you know how you transition if you're going from Camp Cole and you go up to Camp Holland or into Camp Kerr, and they have the boundaries, you know, you walk past the airport, you go up into Camp Kerr, Camp Holland. Did they have Slovakians still on the gate as MPs?
They had some, but mostly was US MPs and some Australians, believe it or not.
Right.
What was kind of interesting, as we went into Camp Holland, we had to check our weapon. We weren't allowed to walk around Camp Holland with our weapon.
What do you mean with a weapon?
Yeah, we had to check our weapon at the gate.
What?
Yes.
Okay, that's foreign to me.
That's because of all the blue on green stuff that was happening. But that was with the ANA and the Americans and the Australians. So I'm sitting there going, you guys are out your mind. The Haskell bears are barely 6 feet tall. I could see outside the wire and see the town, and you're going to have me walk around without a weapon? Are you out of your mind?
That's fucking insane. I can't believe that, mate. Whoever made that. You don't take the weapons off the Australians and the Americans. You de-arm the ANA and the AMP.
Yeah.
You know, that's fucking insane.
If you were not organic to Camp Holland, you had to check your weapon there.
Well, that's almost paranoia. Fucking hell. You know, that's bad. That's bad policy. Because if you get overrun right then, they decided to put the ladders on the gates and come over by say 1,000. You know.
Well, that policy changed. I would say about 2-3 months later, because they had a V-bed at the wire.
Okay, a V-bed, everybody, is a vehicle-borne IED. So they've got a vehicle and they filled it with as much shit to make it go fucking bang, do as much damage, take out a gun tower, take out the front gate at TK, try to intimidate.
They took out the perimeter wire, and you know they had about 150, 200 guys run through the wire. Now, in my opinion, they picked the right spot to do it, because if they did it at Camp Cole, where all your aviators were, it would have been a lot easier to overrun than it would have been at Camp Holland, because Camp Holland had all your American and Australian Special Forces guys. You know, that was your job. Our job was fix and fly helicopters. Your job was to go out and, you know, kill the bad guy.
Do you reckon I still can't believe that they took your weapon off you, mate, when you go into Camp Holland? That's just fucking crazy to me. My lord. Do you reckon it changed your experience of your deployment, mate, being in a different province like that, dealing with a coalition? Do you reckon it sort of changed your experience whilst you're serving in Afghan, as it was if you were like in a US base serving US Special Forces troops? Do you think it made it much more better, or did you think it exposed you to more stuff that you might not have been exposed to? Or?
I just rolled with whatever happened, because when I was in Iraq in 2009, I got to hang out and meet a lot of the Italian military and hang out with them a lot, you know, on my off time. And they were pretty cool dudes. And same thing with Romanian military on our base in Tallil. Their camp, they called it Camp Dracula.
Yeah, right.
And I thought that was hilarious. I started talking to a few of the guys. You know, I look at people. I don't care who you are. I'm going to treat you like a man or a woman. You know, and I'm going to treat you with respect until you give me a reason not to. And so, you know, I'm going to talk to you, and I'm going to enjoy try and enjoy some good conversation and try and learn about another culture. I mean,
I loved it.
as an opportunity, you know, when I'm downrange, especially at and TK and Terran Cow with the Aussies, I learned a lot about Australian culture and how you guys are. I mean, the way you guys talk, if you talk like that here in the U.S., you're an equal opportunity. What you call it? Nightmare. You guys you call each other cunts and assholes and all that stuff. Here, you call somebody a cunt. Oh man, forget it. You're done. You're done.
It makes me laugh, mate, because I used to say it to me. I'd be like, "So what the fuck? Where you from, cunt?" And I'd be like, "What the?" You'd be on the back foot, and straight away they'd be like, "Oh, if there's any female officers around, you can't say shit like that." And I'm like, "No one's gonna fucking tell me how I fucking speak, brother." And they'd be just spun out by the way we speak, and because it's just accepted here because there's no really meaning behind the word cunt when we say it, mate. It's a term of endearment, and if anything, like he's a good cunt, he's my best cunt, we're going out. It's just I don't know, and like it's even the women, there are some women that do find it offensive, but rarely, bro. Even the women, fucking accept the guys out here saying it because there's no real meaning behind it, And,
like I said, I enjoyed learning your culture on that because that was awesome. When I was I'm going to circle back to when I was in Iraq. We were at Camp Buring in Kuwait, getting ready to move into Iraq. We had an in-country brief with a British soldier, and his name, I'll never forget his name, Sergeant Sterling. And he's with the, the British military army. And he asked who our equal opportunity officer was, and that was Lieutenant Katrina Ballard at the time. He says, "Ma'am, you might want to leave so I don't get in trouble because I'm going to give this brief like I would the regular Brits, and you guys are a little more sensitive to this." And, he's talking about, "Hey, guys, this is our truck, the Beaver. If you ever get a chance to go into it for the next 9 months, it's probably the only Beaver you're going to see or get into." I'm rolling on the floor. Katrina Ballard, who's the EO officer, she starts laughing. She's having a good time. And, I enjoyed that brief so much. And he ended his brief going, "Okay, guys, remember, our war ended over 200 years ago. We're good with it that you won. So if you see us, don't shoot us."
Fucking pommy cunts.
That's fucking awesome.
Fucking pommy cunts, mate. Oh, the old pom, bro. We'd always get mistaken for poms, mate, because, really considering Australians were the minimum force there out of the coalition, we could only have, I think we capped out at 800 soldiers inside Afghanistan total. And so, and in Iraq, mate, we only had, what do we have in SecDet? We had about 90 fighting soldiers in SecDet, and we had about another, maybe 300 that was back at the palace, and we sort of interchange, go backwards and forward month by month, from Victory Palace into SecDet.
Yep.
Where our
that was up in Baghdad.
What's that?
That was up in Baghdad?
That's where I was. Yeah, I was up in Baghdad, yeah. So I first got there in 2003. I came straight in with the invasion forces, mate. My plane, my Herc, when I left, fuck, mate. When I Herc left and we came into Baghdad, bro, we did a big hard. What's that?
You were in Iraq in 2003?
2003, brother. I was one of the first Australians into Victory Palace, mate.
I was in Salerno, Afghanistan in 2003.
Yeah, right. Fuck. We've done some shit. We've done shit between the two of us, bro. We nearly cover all years.
I'm an old war. What they say to me, they should put me in glass cases, break glass in case of war.
Fucking oath, mate. Fucking oath. Yeah, so I was one of the first Aussies into Baghdad. When I was coming in, mate, when my flight was coming into Baghdad, I was in with two SAS guys, and I was in with a int major. We're doing a reconnaissance for a skiff, and we're doing a reconnaissance to move the Australian National Headquarters from Qatar because the push had been up, and we need to move our Australian National Headquarters up with the 5 Corps headquarters that just sort of landed. We're planning to land in the next month into Victory Palace. So I went forward early, do a reconnaissance on that, mate, and sort of scope out the land where we're going to put all the Australians in the Australian skiff. And then I had to go into the red zone into the city to find out where the Australian ambassador was and build a fucking fortified tower around the ambassador because we were still going to play fucking politics at the start. Because it was a pretty easy fight when we first rocked in. Now, we made those cunts down in the desert, and then we pretty much sort of flew in, and then George Bush was sort of saying, it was a good deal in Qatar. And as I was coming into Baghdad, mate, we hit this big bank, right? And I just see fire coming out the fucking, I'm thinking, oh my God, and I'm seeing the fucking ladies doing their fucking thing with the torches, checking all the fluid and all what they do. And I'm like, oh my God, what's going on here? And so I'm thinking fucking crash. I'm thinking, it hurts, man. If you're going to crash on a plane, it hurts a pretty good plane to fucking crash, they're pretty, so I'm thinking, where the fuck are we? I didn't know what's going on. I'm freaking, my asshole's going 50 cent, 5 cent, 50 cent, 5 cent. This is my first time I'm flying into a combat zone. I was like 23 years old or 24 years old. And I'm like, holy fuck. And then we dropped down and I've tactical flew before. I've done lots of tactical flying. We're tactical flying in and we come in, hot me land. And I'm like, what the fuck was all that about? And like, they had a surface to air missile, I think, lock onto them. And that was them throwing their chaff. Yeah. We were coming into Baghdad and I was like, and that was like, boom. And then we hit and that ramp come down. I got that hot, mate. And then boom, we're in the cars to fucking Victory Palace, And I find myself fucking walking into Saddam's bedroom, mate. Because that's where we ended up putting the headquarters. I mean, where Saddam's bedroom got blew out. I decided to use that corner there as a skiff. And then we moved our headquarters in off the side of that. And then that's where I stole the marble out of Saddam's wall there. I took a big chunk out of his bedroom wall, mate. And that's what I actually give away on the 500 sub giveaway Friday.
When I was in Egypt, I found a small piece, maybe about that big, of petrified wood. And I was like, oh, I'm going to keep that, then bring that home, nice little souvenir. So I'm going through customs, like, oh, you can't keep that. I'm like, why? It's just a piece of wood that's petrified. He goes, yeah, it's an Egyptian artifact. You can't take it. I'm like, fuck.
Fuck. Yeah, well, see, when I first got there, in Baghdad, it was sort of the first time we'd all sort of done war, you know what I mean? So for Australians, we've done some shit in East Timor, but nothing like fucking, my whole career. We're never going to be fucking fighting north of the equator, boys. We're never going to Europe again. Fuck that. We're going to look after our own backyard. We're going to look after New Zealand, Tonga, Fiji, Samoa. We're going to look after Papua New Guinea, East Timor, fucking their local area and start concentration. And some fuckheads decide to fly a fucking plane into a tower. All bets are off. We're above the north. We're in the north, the North Equator, mate. We're in the Middle East. We've forgotten how to do Australia. Like, I got told fucking 3 days, mate. Mate, we're sending you. We're about to invade Iraq. We need you to go over there and fucking.
We knew 9 months prior to leaving that we were gone.
Yeah.
In 2003, we were supposed to go to Iraq, but once we got to Kuwait, we got redeployed to Afghanistan. So all of our MOB training and everything we did was all about desert training because we're going to be in Iraq.
Right.
The next thing you know, we're loading on planes to go to Afghanistan, and now we're in the mountains of Afghanistan, in Bagram, Salerno, Mozar Sharif.
People in the chat need to understand that Iraq and Afghanistan on the map, they look like they're very similar places, but the terrain and on the ground, completely two different environments, And
the culture is completely different, too.
What's that?
The culture is very different, too.
It is. And you got to think, people think Afghanistan's part of the Middle East. It's not. Afghanistan's still classed part of Asia. And you'll see the fighters, like the Pashtun Afghans, they have that Asian sort of look about them. They don't have that hard Arab Middle Eastern look like they do in Iraq. And the culture is different completely. And you've got factions too. You've got the Sunnis and the Shiites, and and the way they sort of gather too, they can change their policies and they can have little fucking tips with each other. Oh, it's insane.
Yeah, but you're fighting. The guys that are there fighting the coalition, but the Sunnis and the Shiites are fighting each other, and you get caught up in the middle of it. Now you're fighting the Sunnis, the Shiites, and everybody else. It's like sitting there going, "What the fuck?"
In 2010, mate, we also just say you got the Bobs and the Joneses, so they're not religious. They've got nothing to do with the fights. this is two families that fucking detest each other. One day, mate, we got into TK. We're going into the mess, mate. It was just before lunch. And the ground is shook, and we see this mushroom cloud come out of fucking the middle of fucking TK, mate. And we're like, what the fuck is that? And everyone's like, we look straight over the skiff. What the fuck is that? What were you setting off? And they're like, that's got nothing to do with the war. There's no one dropping anything. There's no fucking salt. We got no one out. What the? So we send out fucking some boys straight out there to go and investigate. What happened is the Bobs found out the Joneses was having a family reunion, and all the family members were coming from all over fucking Afghan to meet on this particular day. The father had found out. He decided to tie as much suicide shit to his chest as he could, and he ran into the family reunion and detonated. And just, oh mate, it was insane. It was fucking insane. And you had to deal with that, and that had nothing to do with anything. That was just two families fucking fighting. You know, you're like, this place is fucking hectic.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, I've learned a whole new respect for the Afghan fighters because you know what? They might be, below poverty. They might not be that organized, but these guys are professional soldiers that have been fighting wars their whole life, whether it's internal or external, and they will literally die to make their point. Where
some of the true believers
not die, we'd rather complete our mission and come home. Where these guys like we're dying today. Today's the day I'm dying. I'm going to walk out into the middle of a glass of ice. We're going to try and get home. And they're saying they're going, I'm dying today because I'm going to walk up into the gate and blow myself to pieces and take as many people as I want.
Excuse me. I still think, they still did cowardly moves, like they'd fire here, run around a compound, drop their rifle, pick up a hoe, knowing that we can't using our ROA and our orders for opening fire off against us. And knowing that we can now, the best we can do, even though we've seen him fire, we can fucking grab him, interrogate him for 72 hours, and then he's going to be released, and we take his bios and that. But it was, I still hated the way they fucking fought like that cowardness. But you're right, there was the true believers, bro. Yep, they run at you, Akbar, fucking suicide vest, machine gun, the whole lot, bro. But they're, not all of them are true believers. There's a lot of cowards.
A lot of them will fight for whoever's giving them the most money. They believe in that. They believe in the dollar.
That's right. That's why it's hard to win hearts and minds.
Yep. And it's funny you say that because in 2010, when I was in Iraq, I was a brand new crew chief and a made flight engineer over there, and I got assigned my first aircraft. And I'm going through the books, and I'm seeing there's a authorized modification to make to the ramp to mount a Mark 19, which is a 40 millimeter automatic grenade gun, shoots 60 rounds of 203 grenade rounds a minute. So I started looking up all the
so everybody in the chat understands that. They've all seen the video of me firing the 40 mics out of an M79 grenade launcher. What he's talking about is that fully automatic, firing those fully automatic, like a machine gun, but grenades. Yeah. Sorry, Rob, I just wanted to explain so they understand exactly what you're talking about.
So I started putting the work orders in, have sheet metal do their thing. I ordered it, put the request in for all the parts for sheet metal. My first sergeant, Eddie Beadle, comes up to me and he goes, "What is wrong with your ramp?" I'm like, "What do you mean? You ordered $100,000 worth of parts for your ramp. What is wrong with your ramp?" I says, "No, nothing, Eddie. I found this. It's an authorized modification to mount a Mark 19 on my ramp, and I want to mount the Mark 19 on my ramp." He goes, "We're supposed to be winning hearts and minds." I says, "Well, some asshole shoots at me, and I hit him in the chest with the Mark 19. There's his brain. I won hearts and minds." And Eddie went like, "Oh, no. No."
Yeah, it's got that dark humor, bro. That's what gets this through, mate. That shit, I can.
Yeah, and I was serious. We had one in the weapons connex that wasn't being used. So I was like, "Hey, we could use it."
That's an asset.
If anything, over the test fire range, I could drop, maybe 4 to 5 rounds, and that'd be pretty cool to see. Right off the ramp of a helicopter. How badass is that?
Mate, I used to love it when I was in the back, mate. I was seeing the lady sit down, mate. What do you got bolt on the back? Is it an M60 or a Mag 58 or is that a 50 cal?
We upgraded to the 240 hotels, which was a replacement to the M60. And we put them through their paces. We're at Aero Gunnery Range, and we went through 5,000 rounds without changing a barrel.
Wow.
Well, you got to remember, aerial gunnery, we're flying, we got forward motion. We have constant cooling on that barrel.
Right, okay. Because I talked to the guys how important it is to maintain the integrity of the machine gun barrels. You do your long burst, you'll fuck that barrel real quick.
Oh, yeah, it'll work. But we're doing, 3 to 5 second bursts with.
There you go, mate. I think I got one there.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, that looks like Afghanistan.
Yeah, that's me traveling from one of the fobs.
Right on with the Hicks system, which is the roller system.
He was just ready to set it down and fucking started fucking, and that was my bird. The bird's coming in to pick me up.
Yep, we had the Hicks system with us. I took them out of the aircraft because our mission was not ring route and resupply. Our mission was insertion extraction.
Right.
Every once in a while, we'll do a ring route, and then I'd have my maintenance team put the Hicks systems in.
That's in Saddam's chair in Victory Palace, mate.
Nice. Look how young you were.
Yeah, bro. I was a warrior, bro. A little fucking kicking ass. That's Afghan.
Wow. I wouldn't recognize you from then to now.
That's when I was building Sectet in Baghdad. You see, I'm running a carbine there. I'm running a shorter barrel because I was doing a lot of in and out of vehicles and climbing up stairways.
I loved your guys' carbine. The badass looking weapon.
Never stopped training, bruv. And that's Victory Palace there.
Yeah. It's funny. Saddam had all the water, but southern Iraq didn't have any water because he turned it all off.
Mate, I've got a funny story about that palace actually, because I was the first one there. We actually all got pulled in by the commander. I think it was fucking Tommy Franks might have flew up. Was it 4-star Tommy Franks that was running the show back in the first start? And he'd come up and he's like, right, because fucking people were taking the gems out of the chandeliers and the taps and the fucking curtain rods, and the place was just starting to disappear, And they're like, we can't have war trophies. This has got to stop. But what you got in your bags is okay. And that's when I started grabbing chunks of marble and throwing it in. And they're like, right, you can take some fucking, because we got that, like you said, how they pick, you can't take that. It's an artifact. They had to start drawing lines in the sand because people were just fucking going crazy. It was insane.
Yeah, it was funny. Just yesterday, my wife was saying, too bad that when you're in Iraq, you didn't go into a house and open up a wall that was full of gold and cash. I'm like, yeah, that would have been nice.
Yeah, that happened. That's Saddam's bedroom there, actually. That's a picture of the room.
Oh, wow.
Yep, I started to shovel all that shit out. That's just photos of inside that's the first thing I saw when I opened the door and walked in.
You're like, I'm home.
I'm like, this fucking narcissistic motherfucker. It's just for him. Yeah. There you go. There's a chunk of the marble there.
There you go.
Yeah, just
I lost my playing card set. Do you remember playing card sets from Desert Storm where it had like the Ace of Spades with Saddam?
Mate, I had 15 sets. I had 15 cents. I sent them to my mates. I sent them to my family. I kept nothing for myself either, mate. And now they're worth fucking.
I had them, and I don't know where it was. When I was in Iraq, they came out with the new money that didn't have Saddam's head on it. And people invest in money all the time saying, this money's value is going to increase. Well, in 2010, I figured the war is going to be over. They're going to start exporting oil. So I started buying Iraqi money. I would go to finance and say, okay, here's $200, give me some Iraqi money. And I was doing that a lot. I ended up with 1.5 million Iraqi dinar.
Holy fuck!
And
How much have you got now?
I still got the 1.5 million Iraqi dinar. I invested 1,500 US into it, and it's now worth maybe $900.
Yeah,
It's going the
right.
wrong way.
You should maybe grab a couple of notes and give them do a giveaway with those or something.
Nah, 'cause I'm hoping one day that they're going to go to a 1-to-1 value, and that's when I'm going to trade them in at the bank. It was
Fucking
an
oath.
investment, you know.
I've got
That's
I've got a
15
few notes,
years.
there. A few, anything with Saddam's face on it, mate. I grab.
Oh, I got a lot of Saddam money too, because I would go to the bazaars and buy the Saddam money.
Yeah. Was
Because
that different? Was the Iraqi thing different to that? Was it?
what's that?
What did you say? So did you invest in? What did you invest in?
The new Iraqi money without Saddam's head on it, because they came
Oh,
up with
right.
money
Okay.
without Saddam's head on it once he was captured and all that, and then hung. Yeah,
Like the doggies.
yeah, a filthy animal.
Yeah, I was
Which
there
was-
when they captured the boys and his sons, mate, Uday and Qusay, and had the firefight there in the city, mate. And they brought the bodies back, and they had set up a sort of like a morgue like system. And any people that were in the area, they gave us the opportunity to walk through and fucking see the bodies, mate. And I thought, fuck it, I'll go and check the fucking pieces of shit out, because I heard some of the stories that those motherfuckers did, mate, especially the women. Oh, mate, made the fucking blood boil. And anyway, I went in there. By the time I got in there, Uday's face was just covered in saliva, mate, because every cunt was just fucking spitting on the cunt's face, mate. Anyway, just a little side thing. But mate, I really, I loved it. Whenever I had the opportunity to be with Americans, mate, I always if I was in a mess, if I see one or two lads sitting there, I'd go over and say, "Hey, lads, how you going?" And then start that, "Oh, I'm from fucking Texas." Oh, cool to me. And you start exchanging stories and culture. That's the highlights of the deployments, eh, bro? I used to love that stuff.
Absolutely. Well, when I was in Iraq, we were in Talil, which was right outside of Al Nasiriyah in southern Iraq.
Yep.
And right outside of that was the ancient city of Ur with the most complete ziggurat.
Wow.
And we got to go visit the ziggurat. And so everybody knows what I'm talking about. Let me bring up a picture of it and I'll share it with you guys if you want. Let me see.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah. They'll love it. They'll love any photos, mate. I mean, I know there's a few people in the chat right now that would be loving this dancer. I know Dancer's fucking, she loves listening to all this military stuff. Welcome, Dancer. It's good to see you there. Hey, I just want to address something. Hey, Milky, how are you, mate? Notorious Aussie. Appreciate you, buddy. Hey, Shane. Who else have we got there? Jane, mate, can I bump up for Billy? At the end, mate, me and Robert just started chopping it up, and then at the end, it's relaxed. If anyone wants to come up and have a chat, if Rob's still going to hang around, or not, just get laid over there for him. But we'll have a few Billies at the end for sure, if you're still there listening. But just now, me and Robert are going to just chew it out. So thanks, mate.
I shared that photo of the ziggurat of Ur, and to get biblical, in the ancient city of Ur is where the prophet Abraham lived with his extended family, and I got pictures of the house. Now, what happened was,
oh shit,
back in I forget what year it was the Iraq-Iran war just ended, and at that time, Pope John Paul II was the Pope. And it was just found through archaeology that, hey, this is the prophet Abraham's house. And the Pope John Paul II wanted to go there and worship and pray. And so the communications between Saddam Hussein and the Vatican were happening. And the Pope wanted that his safety be guaranteed while traveling there to pray.
Right.
And Saddam Hussein would never guarantee his safety.
Yeah, of course not. No way. He's a prize target.
So the people of Iraq heard that he might be coming. So they rebuilt the house off of what they found and what they know of the architecture of the time for him to come. And they were like, this is awesome. Iraq could be in the news for something good because the Iran-Iraq wars just really took a toll on the whole country. And I believe that's why he invaded Kuwait, was for the money, because they ran out of money. So he never came, pissed him off. So if you want to bring that up, it's a picture of the ziggurat, and
sorry, mate.
that's Al Nazariya, Iraq.
Sorry, mate. I'm just using my phone.
So I was able to climb
That's
to the top
amazing.
of that, hang out, take some photos, and let's see. Like, when you look at this, now you see these holes. These aren't there from bullets or anything. Those are from what they did when they built this. Now, it's a 5,000-year-old structure. And they would build a course and fill it with earth, and build a course, fill it with earth. And they built these pressure relief holes. So when it would rain, the pressure of the water in there would have a way to escape instead of blowing it out. Which, if you think about it, 5,000 years ago, that's some pretty ingenious architecture and, engineering.
That's fucking amazing.
Yeah. And
let me ask you, Rob, when you were in Iraq, because I felt it different to my experience in Afghan. When you were in Iraq, when you were there, could you just feel the fucking history? When I was walking and down the Euphrates River and the Tigris, I could just, feel Mesopotamia. I could just feel the thousands of years of human history there. It just felt different in Iraq.
Yes. My job, as a flight engineer and crew chief in Iraq, I flew all over M&D South, which was the UAE up to Baghdad, and in that whole area. So I flew over the Hanging Gardens of Babylon on a weekly basis. And I would see a lot of this ancient history all over Iraq, which was amazing. This is on the top of the ziggurat looking down, this photo.
Wow.
I mean, that is another structure they found. This is the palace of the ancient city of Ur, the foundation of the palace. This is on top of the ziggurat.
Unreal.
I
never got south. I never got south down there like that to see any of this stuff. I was all in the city.
Now, this is the most complete building in the ancient city of Ur, and they capped it in concrete to prevent it from eroding. Now, I'm going to show you some pretty cool pictures here when I get to them. This is all in the ziggurat. That's still the ziggurat. It's a ziggurat. The side steps. Right now, we're off the ziggurat. We're walking towards the palace, and I want to turn around, take a good picture. This is the outside of that most complete building that dates back 5,000 years ago, where the Greeks and the Romans got their architectural design from Mesopotamia. So you talk about feeling the culture and seeing history. Dude, I experienced it while I was there.
It's another highlight, mate. It's another highlight of deploying to places like this.
I got to see places that people don't even know exist.
Yeah,
so this is the inside of that house or building, and you could see how tall the archways are, the entranceway to this building, with soldiers that are walking through.
Yep.
And if you look here at this rock, it looks like it's just scarred, right? But when you put water on it, the hieroglyphics come out.
Fucking hell, that's fucking awesome. That's amazing, mate. Wow.
Yeah. So our guide on this tour told us about that. Now, he's the current archaeologist and landowner of Ur. And his family has been that landowner and archaeologist for years. He studied in London and in Germany. He got his archaeology degrees and all that. So that's pretty cool. Here's another one that we saw is pretty well eroded. And when we put water on it, color came out, oranges and yellows.
Fuck. Wow, mate.
So this is a 5,000
archaeologists in the world that would have been jealous of you guys.
So while we're there, like this is the Palace Foundation. I'm trying to get, that was our archaeologist / tour guide explaining everything to us in English.
Roger that.
And so what was really cool. What we're seeing here now is the catacombs where they would bury people back in Mesopotamia and how they would bury them. And they would build these structures into the earth to bury people. And that's what this is.
This is incredible.
These are all the catacombs. And he's explaining to his left, you see that hole was opened up because that is a burial tomb of the average person. So you and I would be buried in a tomb like this, and then blocked up, and then carvings would be put up there so they would know who's in there. This here is a burial tomb of one of the kings of Ur. And we got to go down inside of it and experience it, and it was pretty cool. Like they added that wood there to hold it up because it's 5,000 years old.
Mate, this is incredible.
Yeah, I mean, talk about an experience in Iraq that that made that whole deployment enjoyable. And that's just the amount of dust in the air. But here we are on the inside looking out.
Wow, that's huge.
It was amazing to see and experience it. And then again, there's a regular tomb for a regular person. That's one of our pilots who says, "I'm going to lay down and take my picture." So,
as soldiers do.
Yeah. And there's a marking of who was buried there, and it's pretty cool because you see like a bird, a sun, a hand.
Wow.
And here's the coolest thing about that whole thing is after that deployment, I work at a university. I work at Fairfield University. And I was talking to the art history department and like, "Oh, you just came back from Iraq." And I'm like, "Yeah, I did." "Did you ever see Ur while you're there with the ziggurat?" I says, "Yeah, I was there. I experienced it. I saw it. I walked the ground." So like, "Are you kidding me?" I'm like, "No." And it says, "Oh, let me show you our pictures." So I'm looking at their pictures that date back 40, 50 years ago. And I looked at them and says, "Wow, those are crap." They're like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, your pictures are crap." I says, "I could do better with crayons." They're like, "Do you have photos?" I says, "I have much better photos, well detailed than that." And they're like, "Can we have them?" I says, "Absolutely. I'll give you the whole collection of Ur as long as you give me credit for the photos."
Fair deal. That's awesome.
And so they gave me the credit for the photos, and they paid me to come in and lecture the art history students about the ancient city of Ur.
Unreal.
And
mate.
my experiences being there and seeing it and everything like that. So that was just cool as shit.
That is a cool story, bro. That's unreal. That's I
Yeah.
never got south to see any of that shit, mate. I was blown out just walking around in Baghdad and down in your Euphrates and just going, "Fucking build this place, mate." You can just pretty much if you go right into the history, pretty much where the Garden of Eden sort of started. You know what I mean?
Well, that's where the Tigris and Euphrates meet, right outside of Al Basra. And I flew over that, and I used to fly in Al Basra all the time. And that's the birthplace of civilization.
That's right.
And I was joking about it, saying, "Yeah, civilization was born there, and there's a reason why I left because it sucked."
Oh, were you there in the summer?
I got to Iraq in February of 2009, and we left right around June of 2010.
Yeah, right. So yeah, you definitely. I got there. I remember I got there because the Anzac Day here is April 25th. That's our Soldiers Remembrance Day. That's when we all we go to it's a national holiday here, and we just celebrate veterans.
We have that here. It's called Veterans Day, and it's November 11th.
Right. We also have a November 11th. We call that Remembrance Day, but it's not as big as our Anzac Day. It relates to a particular battle in 1915 where a bunch of Australians were slaughtered by fucking British officers. So it's like there's a lot more to it than that. But just so that's our big special day, and I had been fighting on Anzac Day with some fucking dudes in a pub, and I had I had a hairline crack through my cheek, and they're telling me, "You're going to Iraq in 3 days, you know? What the fuck? You look like, what the fuck have you been doing? I've been fucking fighting, you know? I didn't." And this is going, "You need to go and get this brief and this brief and that brief, and you need to go home and sort this flight and blah blah blah." And I know I ride in the ground. They're like, "What the fuck?" By then my face was sort of like out like this, and at 28,000 feet or whatever it was, oh man, it was killing me. So I snuck off. When I got there, I was snuck off to the regimental aid post that the US had there to make sure my face was okay, because I didn't want to get sent back home. And once I found out the hairline crack of Rocky, and then it was like, what the fuck? Who have they sent us? Because I've been scrapping all day on Anzac Day, mate.
Hey, we had a conversation.
Yeah, that's right. And I'm like, what are we doing? Let's go, you know? And they're like, first you got to go and do this. And yeah, it was,
that was the second time in my life I walked on ancient grounds. The first time was Chichen Itza in Mexico, the Mayan ruins.
Yeah, wow.
The second time was ancient city of Ur in Iraq. The third time was Operation Bright Star, which was the peacekeeping mission in Egypt. And we were there flying over the pyramids, the sphinxes, and all that stuff, which was pretty cool to be there and see that, you know. And,
yeah, especially from that point of view.
And I'm getting paid. And I'm getting paid to be there. And I'm getting paid to fly. I'm not paying any money to fly, you know. I looked at my deployments as one hell of a paid deployment with a whole lot of emotions.
No worries, Aussie prison talk, bro. I got you, mate.
Yeah.
You are. You need a chat. Just ring me, as I said yesterday.
So you know what Australia and America have?
G'day, Killdozer. Sorry, mate.
No worries.
Yeah, you're right.
You know what the Australians and Americans have in common?
What's that?
We were both slaughtered by the British.
Fuck the British.
In America, we have Independence Day, which is July 4th, is when we won our independence in 1776 from Britain.
Yep. Yeah, I know. The whole reason why you have the Second Amendment, mate, against tyranny.
which the current administration, if they have their way, will abolish that Second Amendment.
Scary shit, man. Scary
I
shit.
swore an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. Okay, I might be retired from the military, but my oath has not expired.
Mate, we don't even have rights over here, bro. We don't even really have the fucking freedom of speech. We don't have the right to guns, mate. It's fucking hard. We can't even. To get a sidearm, to get a pistol, bro. All bets are off. It's all bets are off, mate. You've got to show that you're maintaining your membership at a range. You go on there every Sunday. That you're doing competition shooting. That you're doing. It's fucking. It's easy to get a hunting rifle, but
I have a pistol that fires 410 shotgun shells or 45 long.
Yeah. I allegedly might have some laying around like that too.
Don't incriminate yourself. Less is more.
That's it, bro. It's cool. Even though we got all those, there's still guns in Australia.
Yep. Back to Afghanistan. You know, we were supporting missions with those guys, and we came into the non-fighting season, right, which is the winter months in Afghanistan. And
chalk and cheese.
You guys are sitting down, chilling, relaxing. We're just doing ring route support and really not really flying that much. And so I started talking to a bunch of your mates and the commander of the Australian Special Forces. And I was telling them, hey, my soldiers are like drooling over your guys' weapons. Is there any chance we can organize a range day for my soldiers to fire your weapons? And he's like, his exact words is, yeah, no worries, mate. We make it happen. And so He was like, how many guys you got? I said, well, I got 25 guys. They would love to spend the day at the range. And trust me, they're trained professionals. If they fire that weapon, they'll all help clean the weapons and make sure they're functioning and everything. They might need a little bit of training to show them how to do it. And it's like, yeah, no worries, no worries. But can we fire your M16s and M4s? I'm like, absolutely. They'll have them with them and the M9s because the Australians love the M16 and M4. We were salivating over your weapons, and they went that day they literally spent from dawn to dusk at the range with the Australians, firing each other's weapons and having a really great time. You know, firing everything from sidearms to regular, to their machine guns, to your anti-tank stuff that you guys would carry. And, you know, we brought M9s and M4s. We bought the 240s from the helicopters. And I sent up 10,000 rounds of everything for the Australians to shoot. And I didn't get to go. I set all this up. I made it happen for my Joes. And I didn't get to go because I was at the production control meetings, the quality control meetings, senior leadership meetings, battle briefs, upcoming mission. I was spent my whole day in nothing but meetings. I'm sitting there going, son of a bitch.
Yeah, man. The sacrifice of being the fucking team leader sometimes, bro.
Yep. Yep.
For your boys, man. You know, it's important. It's important doing stuff like that. Super important.
Yeah. It was a great down day for them because now they had the experience of firing weapon systems that they normally will never ever fire again in their life.
So you never got to fire the Oz fire? You got the bullpup? Oh,
well,
man.
we have the bullpup here, but it's a semi-automatic weapon.
Right, I've seen it. I've seen it
only 9mm. You know.
Right.
But you guys had some badass weapons, and I'm so glad and happy for my Joes to go there and fire those weapons and have a great time.
That's unreal.
You know?
Oh, there's an echo.
Hey, good day's in the house. G'day.
G'day, mate. Hang on, my audio's just gone funny. Can you hear that? Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing. 1,
yeah,
2,
I can hear you.
Testing. Oh, I just had an echo coming back. It's fixed now.
Oh, okay. I got your Lima Charlie.
Here, look, I got a photo. It's nothing special, but I think I've got the. What have I got here? You got the M4, is it? Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Yep. Which is an okay weapon if it's well maintained.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm just. What do we got here? No,
that's TK.
No, that's patrol-based stalk bid. That's a 5.
Oh, it looks like TK.
Yeah, no, I had to go in there and do a job, so yeah, I was there overnight. So yeah, we just did. It's a pretty safe place. Actually, after that photo, we had some guys on a ridge line fucking fire into where I was standing because I'm standing up on the barrier. You know, I was experienced. Yeah. I'll get rid of that photo. Yeah.
So when you were in Iraq, did you have a lot of work with the Ugandans?
Ugandans?
Yeah.
None at all, mate.
We had them there in Iraq in 2009 and 10, and they would do security around the chow halls and all the gun towers around the bases.
Shit, that would have made me nervous. How were they? Were they okay? Or?
Well, we did a flight mission where we picked up, it was 3 helicopters, so we had 90 Ugandans that we were flying up to Baghdad because they weren't getting paid by their government, and they sent a letter saying that they would create an uproar and a resistance until they got paid. So they got stripped of weapons, and we flew them out of country back home.
Fucking hell. Fucking hell, dealing with third world countries sometimes it's have your best interest, but it's just They're not organized. They just don't know how to do it. Probably. You got to,
No,
first thing you got to do is feed, wet, and pay your soldiers. You got to get those things, you know, and you got to,
and you got to give them a comfortable place to sleep.
That's it. You got to at least where they can try and shut two eyes, not just one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you can get that looked after, you know, then you're halfway there, sort of thing. But you're not paying your soldiers. You're not getting them good regular feeds. You're not looking after them. How can you expect them to perform any way, shape, or form?
No,
But they've got to start looking out for themselves. Their minds start wandering. You know, they're not paying attention. And in a place like that, it's so dynamic. You got to be switched on 24/7. I get a lot of questions when you're in Afghanistan. Did you try the opium or did you get on the Afghan bud? I said, fuck no. I said, over there, you want your most sober mind. You want your best fucking foot forward every single day. You don't want to be fucking inhibited by anything, like, no way.
We would drop you guys off in some opium fields, or the American Special Forces. We land in the middle of an opium field. And we fly back, and CID would come out and peel the poppies out of our aircraft and take accountability. Then after we pick you guys up, they would bring in the fast movers and drop like napalm to burn the poppy fields.
Yep.
Because that was the number one export product from Afghanistan was poppies for opium.
That's right, mate. Mate, I even saw the CIA up in the opium field, bro. You know, the places where I saw
thank you, man. It's great to be here with Chris, a true Australian hero in my book. And I'm glad I get the chance to know him,
I'm nobody. I'm just another bear bum in the shower. I'm nothing special.
No. You look,
I've got the work along a few heroes, though.
Listen, you did a job that I wasn't willing to do. I had my own job to do, which was basically infantry support, because there's two jobs in the military. You have infantry and infantry support. Because if you're not infantry, in one form, faction, or another, you're supporting the infantry. There you go. Yep. And see, I was going to put Omerta across here.
What's that? Sorry.
Omerta, which means shut your mouth.
Oh, Omerta.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that. My cousin has Omerta tattooed on the back of his head, like lips be silent, isn't it? Like a mafia saying or something. It originated from.
Well, it's also a U.S. motorcycle club saying, that Omerta, you don't say a fucking thing. You keep your mouth shut.
Yep.
In translation, less is more.
Yeah. Fucking oath, mate. Yeah. Aussie Prison Talk, mate. Thanks for hanging about. Yeah, it's awesome, mate. Killdozer, good to see you. Yeah, this is awesome. What was my favourite service weapon, mate? I'm biased. The first style was shit. Second one, yeah. The fucking third one, we got that right. We had the 4 picking rails, so you could fucking have laser sights. You had your spots for your IR. You could have thermal imagery. You could run ACOGs. You could fucking run 203s on the bottom. And I always, because I was brought up with a bullpup, when I'm doing my operation, I like the fact that the magazine's behind the trigger mechanism, so I can transition without having to worry about catching my thumb on a magazine. Whereas with the M4, the magazine being forward just got in my way with just when it got to technical ability. That's all, just got it in my way. Whereas I favoured the bullpup because it's all at the back. And because of the way I operated, when I brought it down like this, I twist my arm. It was a really quick magazine release right here in my elbow. So I'll always say this. The stage 3 Oz style. The first 2 were fucking But
my favorite weapon is a little less lethal, which was the helicopter. Because if you want to do me some harm, we could come over at a 10-foot hover over you, and you're dealing with some hurricane force winds coming down on top of you.
Right. You're getting sandblasted. You feel it stinging in your fucking face. It's going down your neck, and then it hits, and then it starts drifting down your fucking shit.
Yep. And when you're going on and off the helicopter, we got 0 pitch on it, so you're not feeling the hurricane force winds. I'm talking, 40, 50, 100-mile-an-hour winds coming at you as we're pulling pitch to lift off, you got 100-plus-mile-an-hour winds.
Yeah. Yeah.
That'll hurt. That'll hurt, especially
Yeah,
when you got sand blowing and rocks and anything loose that's not tied down. I remember pulling out of a parking spot up in northern Iraq. We were at a Marine base called Arif, not Arif John, Ali Salim, I think it was.
Oh yeah, I'm familiar with that.
Yep.
That-
And we were pulling out of a parking spot.
It said a bit differently, but I know what you're talking about.
And there was a porta potty strapped down to the ground. And as we're taxiing away and the pilots are pulling pitch, that thing just exploded. That thing exploded. And I just laughed my ass off watching the porta potty explode. I said, well, thank God nobody was in there.
Oh, it would have been a bad day, especially over there. No worries, Osmond. Talk. Hey, Rob had mate. I think you missed something there. APT. What did Dr. Harley? I said hello to you an hour ago. Nah, because he's talking, mate. He didn't mean anything by that, brother. Don't take any offense to that, brother. It's all G.
No disrespect at all. If I missed you, I apologize. I mean, no disrespect. It's just I'm caught up in conversation.
No, you're right. You don't have to apologize, mate. It's totally fine.
Right on.
Yeah, g'day, Matt Rob. How are you, mate? Milky, you mad cunt. Good to see you there, brother. Always there. Did you fire many machine? What was your favorite machine gun? Did you get the fire many styles of machine guns, or did you have one particular one?
The 240 Hotel was the only machine gun I got to fire. That and the Mark 19. Out of the two, the Mark 19 is the sexiest weapon I ever fired. I'm in love with that. I mean, 60 rounds a minute. 60 rounds a minute of 40 millimeter grenades coming down range. I mean, if that doesn't say fuck you, I don't know what does.
That's a bad day. Everyone's coming down with a kill radius of about 5 meters, a secondary blast of 15 meters, and you just spread them a little bit. It's a bad fucking day. That's when we say
definitely perfect for crowd control, because once you're done shooting, that crowd is gone and well under control. Don't fuck around.
It's good to suppress. Good to suppress.
Yep. It's called fuck around and find out.
Yeah, that's it, brother.
That was the favorite machine gun I ever fired, was the Mark 19. It really was. And next to that would be the 240 Hotel, the Ma Deuce, which is the 50 cal. No big deal.
Yeah, I wouldn't blow them back by the 50 cal. It was no big deal. I fired the SAW, the 58 and the 60. And I think the Mag 58 was my favorite machine gun. It just had that night rhythm of about 800 rounds a minute. Pop, 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 mate. I have a little bipod, mate. Lock that in with a C2 side, grazing fire, knee height, out to 2 kilometers. Fuck, it was a good gun, mate.
But the best was shooting from the air when you're in the helicopter and you got your 240 Hotel mounted to the ramp, and then you just grab the butterfly grip and your thumb trigger and just let it fucking sing. Let it sing.
I always wanted to jump on that fucker and have a crack.
And I tell you, those were like my favorite times, man. Was when we got, in Iraq, my helicopter, my flight engineer at the time was Matt Needham, and we were flying back to Toledo, and we're coming in, and we came under some small arms fire out of a back pickup truck, and it was effective fire, which means it's within the rotor discs. Rounds are hitting off the airframe, and my flight engineer at the time calls out effective fire, 6 o'clock low, 100 yards, and he asked for permission to engage. And our pilot at the time, who was the air mission commander, says engage. As soon as he's got gauge out, he was just rocking and rolling. Meanwhile, I'm in the cabin door on my machine gun, and I'm turning it, going, I can't get to the target.
I can't get the
give me a little left pedal, and we could both engage. So the helicopter went from flying straight to flying sideways, and Matt Needham and I are sitting there fucking lighting this truck up. And as we're lighting this truck up, he's calling in an
The altitude.
600 feet. We were flying
Nice.
high that night, and
Nice.
we're just basically sliding the left of the aircraft forward,
Drifting.
and we're almost sideways, and we're both lighting this dude up. And he calls in an AWT team once we cleared the area of that area, and the AWT team says, "Yeah, you guys did a good job. That threat is well neutralized and nothing left."
How many rounds do you reckon between the two did you put on target?
I emptied all 3 of my cans. He emptied all 3 of his cans. So you're talking 1,200 rounds total.
That thing was minced.
1,200 rounds of 7.62 going down range. Yeah, there was a lot of empty brass inside the helicopter that night.
Yeah, that's fucking awesome.
My door gunner's going, shit, I didn't get a chance to shoot. Now I gotta clean these fucking things.
You're like,
Now I
oh,
didn't get to shoot.
you can't drift this motherfucker so I can get on target. Drift it. You go,
Yep. Give me a little left pedal. Swing this aircraft to sideways. I was like, okay.
mate, the pilots over there, I have so much respect for all the pilots over there, mate. They're just amazing. They're just, what their job, what they got to do, man. Their concentration on what's going on, mate. Fuck.
Because we were flying at night under night vision goggles, and our
mate, yeah.
lasers were IR. So we just put the laser on target, and that's where the bullets are going.
Yep. So everybody
And
in the
we were able to.
everybody in the chat, Rob says, when Rob says he puts on the IR with the night vision, IR is infrared light that you can put on, so only people with night vision can see this particular light. With the naked eye, you can't. It's obviously invisible. So, but if you've got night vision, you can spot targets, you can spot people. When you're on the ground, you can have flashing strobes on the back of your uniform and the side of your helmet, so they can see friendly troops. But when you're running around the ground from the naked eye, you can't see anything. But if you've got the right equipment,
That was good friend or foe identifiers flashing IR.
that's right.
But believe it or not, at the end of my tour in Afghanistan,
I'd get a vape HQ.
one of the guys from the Taliban got a hold of an IR flasher.
Oh,
And-
shit. That's dangerous.
Yep. And when the Blackhawks went to go pick up and they saw the IR flasher, that's where they figured they were land, and he just started opening up on the helicopter.
Fuck. That's fucking, yeah, that's
Like I said, they're not stupid. They might be undereducated, but they're not stupid.
No, I used to say that all the time. I say for dumb farmers, you give them some fucking copper, you give them some diesel, some fertilizer, you give them a battery, maybe some RC modules out of some remote controlled helicopters, and they'll blow you to fucking kingdom come with it, mate.
Yeah. When we would dispose our batteries, whether it was a 9-volt, a AAA, or a AA battery, when we would dispose them, they were considered sensitive items because there might be half a millivolt left in it, but if you put 100 of them together to get 1 volt, that's enough to fire a blasting cap.
Yep. And then they've just
And they
used
would
your
go
rubbish.
through the trash to get this stuff.
Yep, we're finding that out, mate, as we're getting hit with IEDs. We send the engineer lads out, the EAD guys. They'd grab it, they'd come back and study it, and they're like, half of this stuff is fucking coming from us. This is blue category 5 fucking data cable. This is fucking that. This is out of this, from Kandahar rubbish fields,
Duracell batteries.
And you got local Afghans burning the burn pits. It took a while for people to go and catch on. These motherfuckers are putting the copper to the side and selling it to the Taliban. You know what I mean? Like, there's a little fucking thing going on there. So then you had to go and throw soldiers on burn pits, mate, to make sure that these cunts weren't stealing shit as it's burning and expose soldiers to those horrible fucking fires, mate.
Yeah. Well, soldiers are not the most smartest people in the world, because as we were leaving TK, because the base was getting shut down.
Yeah.
I'm sitting out there and I'm taking out my final trash and all that. And I go there and I find a white phosphorus grenade.
Oh wow.
And I'm sitting there going, whoa. Now, all my counter IED training is, what's the first thing you do? Cordon off the area. All I see is a white phosphorus grenade. And it's not, because when those things fire off, there's nothing left. I mean, those things burn through 6 inches of steel. So I called up EOD. I notified my chain of command, and they notified base command. EOD came out there like 6 hours later. Even though they were based there, it took them 6 hours to go from Camp Holland to Camp Cole. And they came in and they sent the robot in and they moved the trash around it, and there was no detonator around it. It was just a soldier being lazy, not turning it into the weapons dump or the ammo dump. He just figured I'd just throw it out in the trash. And how do you think the Taliban get that shit? Through the trash.
That's it. The trash, our trash was their treasure, you know. It took a long time to get the soldiers. You really got to fucking watch this isn't like Australia where you throw the rubbish in the bin and fucking on Monday some fucking guy's going to come and take it to a safe place. You know, this stuff is fucking killing soldiers, you know, because they're using our rubbish against us. It was fucking a known thing, and it was hard to discipline people to be on top of that shit because there's so many moving. In Kandahar, there was something like 50,000 fucking soldiers when I was there in 2010. It was like a city.
It is a city.
It was incredible. I couldn't believe that place.
Taliban's last stand is right there in Kandahar.
First place I went to.
Yeah.
First place I went.
And I looked and said, fuck you, Taliban. I'm here now. What are you going to do about it? Nothing.
Yeah, me too. We walk in there too. Fuck you.
Now, here's an interesting thing that, tattoos that I got. On this arm, it says American.
Hang on, let me just make. Bro, I want to see that. Hang on. That's fucking sick.
And in Arabic, it says infidel. So.
Yeah, I wear a shirt, mate, because we're the Royal Australian Army, mate. We call the Royal Australia. We call it the Royal Ray Infidel, the Royal Australian Infidel.
Right on. So I was that guy that I'd go through the chow line in the morning, and when they pick up the bacon to feed you, because it was all the locals that would feed you, and they would pick the bacon up and hold it as far away from them as possible, because swine to them is a devil animal. And I used to grab the bacon. I said, man, this stuff is good. You should try it. I take a bite of it and I sling the bacon grease out. And man, you should hear.
Oh, mate. Whenever I was near because did you go up to Camp Holland and see the prison that we'd built up there?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So I had a part in building that place as well. And when I was in there, we have.
The thing is, and as we were shutting down that base, that prison was full of soldiers that were A&A. They would go out on raids on Monday and Tuesday, and then on Wednesday, Thursday, they were getting picked up and thrown in prison because they were fighting for the Taliban.
Okay, so they were stopping potential blue and greens. I'm coming up with a system of trying to vet.
Well, no, they weren't green or blue at that time. They were Taliban. They would come into the A&A, get trained up, and then walk away from the A&A and go back fighting with the Taliban.
Wow. I remember interpreters looking up on the board because we need more interpreters, and we've got a bunch of names, and they're trying to vet. You're trying to vet these people best you can. And one of them came on, and straight away he interpreted interpreters, mate, they came running straight over and just started fucking flogging this cunt, mate, kicking the shit out of him. They going, Taliban, Taliban, fucking. We go, whoa, gonna pull him off, and that's when you know, right, this cunt's fucking right and get him out of here because these two lads have been working here for 18 months and they're solid, you know.
Yeah.
But what made it hard was we had to put them into Australian uniforms, mate. And that way, that was really hard for me because, you know, what you go through to put the fucking Australian uniform on with that Australian patch and wear that with professionalism, man, to see us just give that uniform to these guys and just treat it with disrespect, mate, that was hard for me to witness. But we had to do it because they were wearing something different. They were being targeted, mate, you know, so you had to make them look like us.
Yeah.
So, but that was hard to witness, you know. But, you know, the interpreters, mate, they were great, you know, and I think the way fucking Biden pulled out, mate, I think we've done a disservice to all those guys, man, that we promised that we'd fucking back, you know, and it fucking hurts me. It fucking really hurts me, man, when I think about they're all fucking dead. I'm not going to bullshit. They're all fucking dead.
The Taliban with guns, ammo, Humvees, helicopters, tanks, all that shit.
MRABs.
Yep. MRAPs, all that shit. We left it and they just took it over. And there's videos of the Taliban flying Black Hawk helicopters, running around and MRAPs, shooting M16s. You know, they should give Biden the Employee of the Month award for the Taliban.
I just want to say, hey, Lazero, wasted 20 years at the end of the day. No, mate. Whilst we were there fighting evil, we're stemming the flow of terrorism into the United States, into Europe, and into Australia. So while we were fighting those motherfuckers in their backyard, mate, they're not thinking about getting on planes and fucking smuggling their way over to fight us in our fucking New Year's Eve, our NRL grand finals, our fucking Subway peak hour. That spot, mate. So you might think it was a waste at the end of the day. But fucking soldiers died over there, mate, to stem the flow of terrorism, mate, so that we can live in peace, brother. Okay?
Yeah.
So remember.
Yeah, I mean, ground zero for 9/11, September 11th, 2001. That's less than an hour drive from me.
Yeah,
Less
mate.
than an hour drive.
On my bucket list, bro, because I've got so many guys that I served with, you know, like in Iraq that I still talk to. Sean Willie's a vehicle mechanic that I ended up hooking up with in Iraq, and he lives in Ohio, you know, and I want to go to, what's that? I keep forgetting the show at near Dead, the big bike week there, the Sturgis.
Yep.
You know, I want to take you up.
If you want to come to New York and see ground zero, where the
That's
Twin Towers
that's the first place I'm going.
let me know. I got a room here for you set up already for you to sleep in. And I will show you New York City like you've never seen it.
Mate, in a couple of years, I'll fucking take you up on that, brother.
As sure as I'm standing here right now in Europe, you fly into New York, I will pick you up, bring you to my house. I got 2 bikes. You could ride one, and we'll go right into New York City. But we'll take the train into New York City. It's a lot safer than driving. It's like driving downtown fucking Kandahar without the IEDs. Seriously.
Sorry, Lazero. Sorry, mate. I didn't mean to have a go at you, mate. I'm not having a go. I'm just passionate about it. I just don't want people to think, what a waste that was, mate. Because it really wasn't. That's all. So I wasn't having a crack. I just wanted to be clear that, you know, I don't.
The way Biden, and I refuse to call him president because he's not. He's a fucking waste of life. The way he pulled out of Afghanistan was a total spit in the face to every soldier that served, fought, and died in that country against terrorism. It was disgusting. It was totally, utterly disgusting.
And then the 13 soldiers that were killed, mate.
The ones that were left behind. I'm sorry. In the army I was brought in, we never leave a fallen soldier behind. Never.
Yeah, fucking.
Well, these soldiers weren't falling; they were standing, and he left them behind. That's disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was a waste of time. Why didn't we go back in and get them? It's not like we couldn't, have air superiority to go there and get it.
I just, there's just no feasible. Okay, every way you try to look at it and assess that situation, it just doesn't make any fucking sense to me. It's just
No.
it's such a hard one to get my head around, but
It's an embarrassing day to being American.
it was hard. It was fucking hard, mate. I felt so bad. I just felt for all the soldiers and the vets, mate. I'm just thinking, this is fucking terrible. This is just fucked. And then I started thinking of all the fucking Afghanis I've worked with, mate, that I know they're all fucking getting their heads chopped off right fucking now, mate. They're all fucking dead, bro. They had a list. We left lists in those buildings with those weapons. You know what I mean? They went and fucking hunted those cunts. They're all fucking dead. Anyone that worked with the coalition was fucking dead, and to be used as an example. It's unfortunately, it's sad, but that's what fucking happened.
Yep. And
But
I tell you,
but there are special forces soldiers doing fucking black ops missions, trying to get some of those folks out that are hiding. Let that be known.
can't confirm nor deny that. Because this gets broadcasted throughout the world. Anybody and everybody can watch it. So,
That's it.
I don't, I just think it's disgusting what Joe Biden did and Kamala Harris, and I can't believe she was appointed to run against Trump. It's disgusting. It's like, wait a minute, we have checks and balances for this, and they just side-skirted the whole thing.
Yeah.
He wasn't mentally fit to run for president when he got elected. He was a puppet.
Should have been sacked the minute that happened. The minute she walked out of the fucking Oval Office, mate, she should have been arrested for just fucking the nation over like that. The coalition, not just all of us. She put us all in fucking. She put us all on standby, mate. Australians, the bridge, all of us.
It's disgusting. And now she's saying, I'm going to fix everything that went wrong the past 4 years. Really? You were part of the problem. How are you going to fix your problem? You can't.
What did she even do, mate? Name one thing she even fucking done. I don't even know. What has she even done? She can't even say what.
She went to a world summit in Germany and embarrassed the United States.
What about she in Poland going, the Russians are there and this is very bad, and they like, who's going to respect her on the world stage, really?
No.
Trying to address.
There's a reason why Putin wants her as president. There's a reason why Kim Jong-un wants her as president, because she's weak. They don't want Trump as president.
No way. Because that cut means deal. He loves America. He truly wants to make America better. He loves his country. He's not out to fucking take political prisoners or be a dictator, mate. He wants to get manufacturing. You want to fucking operate. You want to deal with us. You're going to fucking bring your companies. You're going to start manufacturing here, mate, or we're going to fucking charge you an arm and a leg for everything you fucking do. I'm going to start drilling oil. We're going to do it safely. We're going to look after the environment, but we're going to bring down the cost of fuel, which bring down the cost of living. That shoots the economy up.
Here's a good point. When Trump was in office, the highest 89 octane was $1.87 a gallon. With this asshole in office, the same gallon of gas was almost $4 and change, and in California, over almost $6 and change.
Right, and I think what's it, 3 point something liters to a gallon, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so we pay by the liter over here. So you're paying $1.80 a gallon. That's what's that divided by 3 roughly. That's 60 cents a liter or something.
Yeah.
Oh wow, mate! Even at our cheapest when Trump was in, it was about $1.25 a liter. So $3.80 a gallon or something like that. Now we pay $2 a liter, so 2 for 6 or 7 a gallon, I suppose to you.
Yeah.
I know it's down a bit at the moment. It's about down to $1.73 a liter at the moment. But if he brings that down, that brings the cost. You bring down the fuel, you bring down everything slowly. It all fucking boom, 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 boom.
The first thing Biden did was he shut down the construction of the oil pipeline that ran from Canada to the United States, and there was a trade embargo in place with Canada that we would send oil up there, and they would, so once he shut that down, Canadian government says, okay, all the timber that comes down from Canada, prices just tripled. So we went from paying, $20 for a sheet of 4x8 piece of plywood to $100 a sheet.
And then what does that do? That just, the cost of building houses, the cost of living just goes, whoa, and you can't absorb that. As an everyday American, how do you absorb that?
Well, here's the thing. People at McDonald's are making $15 an hour.
I know.
So if you go to McDonald's and get a 2 cheeseburger Happy Meal for yourself and a 2 cheeseburger Happy Meal for your wife, you're $45 in.
That's insane.
For a McDonald's meal. I'm like, you kidding me? For $45, I'd rather go someplace else and eat better.
Yeah.
Because the minimum wage turned up to $15 an hour.
Is quite high. The minimum wage here is quite high. I don't know what it is, but I think it's 20, 25. How much? So about $25 an hour. Minimum. So
it drives the cost of everything else up, because if you own a shop or a store and you're paying someone $25 an hour, well, you're going to have to adjust the pricing of all the product you sell to offset the cost of that wage. So the consumer pays it, but okay, the minimum wage went up, but regular salaries don't go up.
Yep. Yeah, I've been watching this debate because I've been watching in America how people are saying, don't bring the minimum wage up because people can make more an hour by hustling whilst they're working. Once you bring the minimum wage up, then that's a flat rate. People are less inclined to tip. They've got to pay you more. The businesses aren't going to, I can see the fight for it. And over here, I can see why you're saying that. It is. The cost of living in Australia, I think it's one of the highest places in the world to live right now, mate. Australia is fine.
I can believe it. I believe it. I served with a guy who retired from the U.S. military. He's collecting his pension, and he lives in Thailand. He's collecting $3,500 a month on his pension. It's costing him $1,000 a month to live. He's got a maid, a chef, and he lives on the beach.
Yeah.
And all he has to do with his visa is leave the country for 30 days. For 30 days, he comes back to the U.S., spends 30 days here visiting family, and then goes back to Thailand and lives like a king.
Yeah, I mean, and see, Thailand to us is just a little. It's quite a short flight. It's not too far for us to travel. There's a lot of expats doing that. There's a lot of guys that I've only got this amount a year. I can't retire this in Australia, so I'll quadruple my money and go to Malaysia, Bali, Indonesia, Philippines. There's a bunch of places they go.
Yeah. Another place they go is down in South America to live. I forget the name of the country, but it's very inexpensive to live, and they live like kings down there. I'm sitting there going, I'm doing something very wrong.
How much is it for say 2 liters of milk? So like a quart of milk.
It's about $5 or $6 a gallon of milk. So you got 4 quarts in a gallon.
Okay. So about $1.20 a liter or something.
Something like that, yeah.
Okay, I bought one at the survey last night, $5.50. There you go. That's just for a liter of milk, a liter and a half of milk or something, bro. The boys are saying here they're paying $2 to get a tomato.
Yeah, I mean, this is my side hustle, so I can afford to do things. If I didn't have this, I wouldn't be able to afford to go anywhere.
Yeah.
And now they want to institute a federal property tax on your house.
That's fucked. Do you own your own place, mate?
I do own my own house. I pay a mortgage on it, and I pay property taxes to the town, and property taxes on my vehicles, and that alone, it's over $7,000 a year on property taxes between 2 motorcycles, 2 cars, and a house.
Wow. I'm I'm lucky. I own my place outright, so I don't have a mortgage. But I got the council taxes, which is not too bad because I'm rural. I've got a 5-acre property here, and I only pay about $1,200, $1,800 a year on my rate as my council taxes. And because I'm a veteran and I have a DVA gold card, it's like it's a card to say you've been to war and all this stuff crap, and it gives me my vehicle $200 to insure my vehicle. And I get what was the other thing I get with it? I get if I have a boat and a boat trailer, I can get that for free tax on that. And
Nice.
I get a pension from DVA, mate. I get a pension from DVA
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I collect my pension from the military at age 58. Normally it's 60 years old, but I have qualifying periods in the combat zone, so I could collect it early. So I have to wait till I'm 58, which is in about just under 3 years, because I'll be 55 in March. So in March of my 50, when I turn 58 on my birthday, I could apply for my pension.
Right.
It doesn't automatically kick in. I have to apply for it.
Yeah, I got it too, but I'm not entitled to my pension until I'm 67. I've got a service pension too from my time in. The pension I get now is like a incapacity pension, something like that. I can't remember the technical jargon of what I come under. But yeah, 67, I still get like all my superannuation, we call it here. My superannuation, like 650 grand or something when I'm 67. But yeah, no, it was a good. Doing war service helps, mate. With you get a lot of it depends on where you serve to, the entitlements you get, and and how you're assessed as well. But what happens is, see, I ended up anyway. My career came to an end. I ended up in a fucking psych ward, for 10 days. So I sort of got medically discharged. I was lucky. That's why I didn't get fucking shoved to the street and forgot about. Whereas a lot of these lads discharge, and then boom, it all comes on, and they get on drugs, are homeless, and then they're trying to fight the veterans to try and get all the shit they're fucking entitled to. You know what I mean? Whereas if they transitioned out, they would have had the same that not such a fucking bang fall, and there's no fucking couch there to catch it. You know what I mean? So
that's one thing the U.S. has. We have a transition period that you can opt in for, where you transition from professional soldier to civilian. And one of my friends is doing it. He's still in the military, but he's working a civilian job, but he's still collecting his military pay, and that's about ready to expire on him because his enlistment date is coming up. So there's that, which is a good thing that just started within the past 4 or 5 years, and I'm glad to see it.
Yeah, any benefits to help any of
any of the jokes.
More, it hurts me to see too, mate. When I see them, what they're doing with people coming across the border, giving them these cards and hotels, and the vets, mate. I know there's a lot of other people, mental health issues out there as well, but particularly my heart warms towards the vets.
I was just saying that to
like they get in the nuts.
Just today, I was telling them, look, man, if I was you, I'd take a flight down to Mexico, make an illegal crossing at the border, and say, mira, and you get all this for free.
Yeah. I mean, I speak English. Which way is the plane?
Yeah. Where's my free stuff?
And it also kicks all the people in the balls that are actually applying and coming across and doing it the legal way, the proper way. What about all those people that have been waiting years and paid tens of thousands of dollars to get access to America? Just kicking all those people in the nuts too,
Yeah, I think hey, you want to come here? I support it. Just do it the right way, do it legally, and I'll welcome you with open arms. Now, in one of our cities here, we had a mayor who said we should stop calling them illegal aliens because they're here and they didn't break any laws. I'm like, they came here illegally. They broke the law.
The minute they walked across that border, they're breaking federal law.
Yeah. I mean, that's just the delusion that some of these people have.
See,
it's
it makes
frightening.
see, the people that say open borders, mate, they haven't seen inside Afghan and Iraq. They haven't seen what these people are capable of, mate. You know, because they're so far away from it. They haven't
Yeah,
realised.
I mean,
They just think, oh, it's fine. You know, they don't understand who's coming across there. It's fucking crazy to me. It's so. I'm so glad we've got an ocean around Australia, mate. It just makes it that much harder.
yeah. I mean, I sit there and I listen to Harris talk about, the border and the problems at the border. I'm like, bitch, you've never been to the U.S.-Mexico border.
What? Like I haven't
I
been to
mean,
Europe?
I mean, case in point, I had a flight mission out of Connecticut. We were supposed to fly these Canadian delegates into Canada. So we did all of our paperwork properly, so we could fly into Canada and all that. But they did not. Even though he's a Canadian delegate, he felt he didn't have to do his paperwork. So they didn't grant us access into the Canadian airspace. So we landed on the U.S. side of the border. And he goes, what am I supposed to do? I said, rent the car and drive across because they won't let us, your country will not let us cross the border.
That's insane.
He's like, well, I order you to fly into the country. I'll take care of this. Your orders mean nothing. We're here. We're doing this as a courtesy of for you, at $8,000 a flight hour.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember the pilots, the boys when I was in Afghan saying it was like $80,000 just to turn the wind them up on the Apaches, mate. Like just to warm up for 15 minutes or some shit. I was just like, do you know how much money America are pouring into this place, mate? Like, Canada airstrip doesn't stop. It's just fucking 24/7, mate.
Every hour, there's two fast moving jets taking off for ground air support. Every hour.
You walk around Canada, all you can hear is there.
It's insane.
It is insane, mate. The America is a fucking war machine, mate, and it's not to be fucking messed with. That's for sure.
Well, the problem I have is the American military should not be used as a world police either.
Agreed. But we do need someone to step up, and countries that can't help themselves. Like we need somebody to take that role. But it's a fucking fine line to draw. That's who do you pick and who do you don't?
We have that thing called NATO.
Fucking useless cunts.
Yeah, but the thing is, an attack on one is an attack on all. Well, then where does Ukraine fit? They're not a NATO member. Why are we supporting them?
What the fuck are we supporting them? Like, nothing against, I don't want to get into the Ukraine, Russia and take sides, but that the whole thing is fucking crazy what's going on there. It's,
well, here's the thing.
Chinese are getting involved.
President Zelensky of Ukraine, him and his wife, a month ago, just bought a $20 million yacht.
Get the fuck out of here. They're taking the piss. That's taking the piss. Come on.
Just bought a $20 million yacht.
That's just fuck you to your country. Fuck you to the US. That's not even. That's taking the piss right there, man. Geez, it'd be hard not to smack that country now.
Billions of dollars into that country. We had a national disaster rip through the East Coast, and you know what they says? We'll give you $750.
I know. I couldn't believe that. And they're trying to shut. Oh, mate, it's what's fucking crazy.
Sit there and go, you gotta be fucking kidding me. You can't take care of. You won't take care of our own, but you'll take care of everybody else.
G'day, AG. It's yeah, mate. I mean, there's lots of things I don't like about Trump as well, but mate, he's what the world needs right now. We need a man with a backbone, mate. Someone that gets shot in the ear and stands up straight away, mate, and doesn't give a fuck. Even the way he operated days after it, he was solid as a rock, mate. Like that was impressive to me, man. To have crack thump coming past your head there, brother, and then stand up, fucking, and then just operate the next day like nothing happened. Doesn't take a fucking day off. Is not intimidated, mate. Doesn't even waver in his voice, man. See, to me, that's someone we need right now. That's someone we can unite under right now.
I mean, here you go. Governments love playing on the world stage. Yes, they do, because they want to show the world how awesome they are, when in fact they're making themselves out to be fucking jokes.
Yep.
It's disgusting.
I truly think Trump can fucking stop Ukraine, Russia. I think he can get a hold of Zelensky and Putin and say, right, this is what we're going to do. And he can at least de-escalate, start the de-escalation. I think China and North Korea pull their head in straight away. Kim Jong-un fucking loves Trump. You know, like when he would bring him over to demilitarize. Why? He's loving Trump. He's not worrying about blowing cunts up. You know what I mean? Like, and then he can go over to Israel and say, you know, we need to sort this shit out too. But it's hard when, you know, they're starting to unite all the Arabs. All the Arabs are starting to point their guns at fucking Israel, mate. It's just, it's a tinderbox.
Israel is a product of World War II.
I feel sorry for Israel.
World War II, that's when they started. They formed Israel, and as a country of its own. I mean, I understand why, but you know what? There's going to be repercussions and fallout from that. There always is. I mean, I've been to Auschwitz in Poland. When I was stationed in Germany, when I was active duty, I took a weekend leave and went to Auschwitz in Poland just to see it. And it was the best decision I ever made in my life, because you got to see humanity at its ugliest.
I can imagine. I've seen hundreds of documentaries on Auschwitz, mate. But you know, walking down the train tracks as you come into the entrance there, it would be overwhelming.
Well, here's the thing. What I learned while I was there: when you go through on the train, on the tracks, you go through the gate, the train stops. The German soldiers would open up the doors. Okay, if you're male, you go this way. If you're female, you go this way. If you're under the age of 13, you're going this way. If you're over the age of 40, you're going this way. So the small children and the elderly are going right to the gas chambers and to be incinerated because they're too young and too old to work. The men camps and women camps were separate. So if you were married, you were separated, and the chances of you seeing each other again was never, ever again. So once you get going into your camps, you get marched what they call an inspection. Now think of the women of the 40s. They were very modest. Right?
Oh, mate. It's fucking horrible. It would have been...
And they stripped these women naked and shaved them from head to toe of all their body hair, from their head to their toe, to include pubic hair, by German soldiers, male German soldiers. So these women are being mortified, you know, from teenagers to, 40 years old. You're being mortified. And it's just horrible. And then when they shut it down and they had the death march because the coalition forces were coming, they shot and killed and burned a lot of their prisoners right there in the spot, and they death marched them and didn't feed them, didn't give them water, didn't give them breaks. And that's why it's called a death march, because people were dropping dead on this forced march to go further into Poland away from the coalition forces. It was horrific.
Mate, when you hear about the accounts of those soldiers first rolling up on those camps for the first time, because nobody in the world had no idea. And those American soldiers first rolled up, mate, on what they saw, and they just started fucking shooting German soldiers straight away. Mate, yeah. Because, they all started running at them, and then they wanted to feed them, and a lot of people fucking didn't realize giving them food, it killed them because their stomach couldn't handle the food, and accidentally thinking they're doing the right thing, and then
and now because they had to bring in medical staff to monitor their food intake, the water intake, and everything. Because these people were literally dying from the inside out from starvation and exhaustion and dysentery, and
all because of a place you were born.
Well, no, some of these people were born in Germany, but they were of the Jewish faith.
Or the religion too. Religion.
Yeah. I mean, Christ, in the concentration camps, they had Jewish prisoners, they had Polish prisoners,
They had
Polish prisoners, they had Russian prisoners,
Yep.
If you did not fit, now think about this. If you did not fit Hitler's mold, which was the true Aryan race, which was blonde hair, blue eye, Hitler himself had dark hair and brown eyes.
Oh yeah, the whole thing was a hypocrite.
His mother was Jewish.
Mm.
I think he had mommy issues.
I think he did. He was a fucking nutter. He was addicted to fucking high grade speed. He was he thought himself as one of the world's best artists. He tried to put himself through art school. He wanted to go into the world's league, and they all laughed at him, mate. So as he was going along, he was targeting properties, especially through France and England, and he was taking all the art, and he was going to open one of the world's biggest art museum in Germany. And when he was starting writing the Third Reich, he was a lunatic.
And I did a lot of research onto how can a maniac like this.
Hang on a sec, I'm just going to put the dog on the couch.
And now everybody in the side chat, listen to this. How can a maniac like this come to power? And it's simple, because at the end of World War I, financially, Germany was decimated. 90% of the population was below poverty, didn't have a job, didn't have food on the table, couldn't keep the heat on, and didn't have a car. Well, the elections came, and here comes Adolf Hitler. If you elect me, I promise you, you will have a job, you will have food on the table, and you'll have the heat on. And I promise you, I will make Germany one of the strongest countries in the world. Now,
mate, if I'm a German late 1930s, I'm voting for Hitler, mate. He's giving you a vision. He's giving you that strong backbone leader. He's you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you can't blame the German people.
No, and he kept his promise, because when he got elected, shortly afterwards, 96% of the population was employed. They were living in the middle to upper class. They had a car. They had food on their table, and it was warm.
Yep.
And he started. He did not start, but he financed Volkswagen. Right. Volkswagen translates to people's car, which was the German people's car. So he kept his promises, and he was such an egotistical maniac and such a well speaker. He went to the kings and all the royalty in Germany and said, if you relinquish your power to me to make Germany great, and once it's great, I will give it back. And he had no plans of giving it back. And these kings and all the other royalty said, yes, here it is. It's all yours.
Oh.
Could you imagine?
It
was the perfect storm of a country to bring in such a maniac to rule and create a totalitarianship or a dictatorship, because that's what he was. Destroyed history, burned books, got rid of old monuments, got rid of everything.
He did it all. He committed genocide. He was doing it all.
He was the pinnacle of the ugliest the human race could go, and he brought in the right people to do it.
That's it, mate. And he nearly did it. You know why why they say Hitler killed himself? Because he got the gas bill. No, he got the gas bill. He got the gas bill.
Yeah.
Bit of dark humor, sorry, mate.
Yeah. What was it? Cyclone B was the gas they would use.
That's right. Yeah.
I did a lot of research because I'm curious how people like Hitler come to power. Osama bin Laden, how he came to power. Well, he was the Prince of Saudi Arabia, so he had all that financial backing, and his family cut him off and denounced him.
Yeah, I know. He's too much, this lad.
Yeah. And it's really, really disheartening when you look at the big picture.
Because people forget about too, like at the end of the day, there was about 9 to 10 million Germans that died in Berlin as they were, as Hitler's plan was falling apart, and they were innocent because they thought they were voting for the right thing, the right time, looking after their family. Then all of a sudden, bombs are coming into their capital city, and they decimated Berlin.
Yeah.
So millions of innocent Germans that just died there.
Well, same thing in Japan. Millions of innocent Japanese died.
Exactly.
And I would look at we would have these meetings here in the States called NCOM. All the clubs, no matter what side of the fence you would go to, and you go to this meeting. So you would have the big four and everybody who supported them there at this meeting to hash out everything. And I would sit there and tell them, it's time to, bury the hatchet and, keep your rags, but at least stand by each other as bikers and brothers and everything. Is well, there was too much bloodshed in the past to go forward. I said, well, okay, I can understand that. But if you think about it, if you look at history, you look at Japan and the United States during World War II, you look at Germany and the United States in World War II, there was a lot of bloodshed between the two. And now they're the United States' biggest allies. There's no reason why the big four can't be allies against the government.
Fucking 100.
You'd have the largest standing army in the country, and there's nothing they can do about it. But
right.
What comes to play? Egos.
Every fucking time, mate. And especially when they're not checked. Like that fucking lunatic who's running Georgia, or who, paid that fucking, those lunatic Armenians, or that they paid tribute to Putin. Those lunatics, mate. They're some of the most hardcore terrorists you can get. I miss their, a lot of the UFC fighters come from the country too. I'm trying to think of the country. But you know what I'm talking about. It's fucking crazy. It's a crazy area in there, man. I like Japan, good ancient culture. Yeah, I don't mind Japan, but
Japan, I always wanted to go.
Yeah, I do too. It creeps me out how they're into fucking like schoolgirls and shit, but that creeps me out a bit. But but yeah, Japan, mate, that's where the tech is.
Yeah, I really want to go to Japan. I want to see the culture and the history of Japan. That's one of my things I'm really into is culture and history. If I travel somewhere, I want to immerse myself in the culture and the history.
Yeah, I'm the same, mate.
When I was stationed in Germany, I immersed myself in the culture and the history. I lived off base. I lived downtown Hanau, Germany. I had an apartment and everything, and I got to know a lot of the locals at the local cast-offs and the restaurants. It was great. You walk outside your apartment at lunchtime, you stop at the bread man, you get a slice of bread. You walk down the street. By the time you get to the end of the street, you got a sandwich. Freshly cut right then and there. You got
to immerse yourself in that. I would too, mate. If I had the opportunity, I'd live off base. See, we don't have postings like that, mate. We're tiny. Like I said, we've got 25,000 total in our complete army, mate. All infantry fighting battalion support, special forces, 25,000. I mean, we lost 300,000 soldiers in World War I, mate. 300,000. But it was called the AIF, the Australian Imperial Force, mate. And we were under British command, our soldiers, and they just kept fucking killing us, mate, and fucking up. And then we finally had the martyr and said, "That's it. If you want us to fucking fight over here, we want to be led by Australian officers."
Yeah, because it was the trench wars that was.
And there was a soldier called Breaker Morant that was would disobey British officers, so they wanted to use him as an example. So they got British soldiers to shoot him and execute this guy for treason or something like that. They used him as an example, and they said, "Any last words?" And this is what this Aussie cunt said, mate. He's been shoot straight, you bastards.
Shoot straight for what, you bastards?
Fuck it, if you're gonna do it, shoot straight then, cunt. Yeah, tough motherfucker, bro. And that's how we got our own command back.
Yeah, I gotta grab my thermostat. I gotta turn the heat on in here. It's getting cold.
Couldn't even imagine, mate. It's fucking It's fucking 29, 30 degrees sitting here in my lander in Celsius. So like it's
Well,
up in the 90s.
Right now, it's 45 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh yeah, so that's like about 10 degrees or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, mate, it's in its 90s here, mate. It's fucking hot. Good growing weather.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's growing, mate. It's good weather here for grow at the moment.
There we go. Got the heat on. I got one of those remember the mini split units that we had in the Chews in Afghanistan and Iraq? The wall mounted air conditioners. I got one of those right here in the garage.
Yeah, they're good little units, mate. And you know, they'll go hard, mate. They'll go 24/7 for years in the dust, mate. Sand.
Yep. I figured if they could survive the fucking Middle East and Southwest Asia, they'd work fine here in Connecticut. Does heat and air conditioning. I'm a happy camper.
Fucking oath, mate. I just want to say g'day to, I saw someone there. Bull Nuts, how are you, mate?
Yep.
Chris Hodder, g'day, mate. Blinky.
Dribbler. Dribbler's loving the chat.
Dribbler, loving the chat, Chris. Yeah, excellent. I knew you would. I knew you would love and enjoy this. I've been looking forward to it for a couple of weeks since I met Rob, and I'm glad we've got time to do this. It's and we'll get a lot. We'll get a lot of after views, mate. On a 9-hour video, I'm getting like 700 views, mate. So this is probably this should be a good one. And I really wanted people just to hear your perspective, and because there's not many people that can have operated with Australians because we're so few, mate. So it's,
I could tell you without hesitation or remorse that the Australian guys I worked with were the most badass, professional soldiers I've ever worked with. We did
I appreciate you.
We did an assault with them, and it was a big assault. We launched 3 Chinooks, 6 Blackhawks. There were 6 Apaches, 2 at the FARP, which is the forward refueling and arming point.
Yep.
2 en route and 2 on station. There were 4 F-16s, 2 en route and 2 on station, an AWACS, and an AC-130 gunship on this raid.
Oh, I've seen that thing operate. Oh, I've got a story about that, but yeah, keep going. That thing's amazing.
So we dropped you guys off with the Americans and the A&A, and we flew out of there. And when we went in, we came under fire to drop you guys off. And when I mean you guys, all the spec op guys with the A&A.
Yep.
And we got the call to pick you up, and we picked up you guys, and we came under heavy fire picking you up, and you guys were returning fire as you're loading the helicopter and bringing in your wounded, tending to your wounded. One of your guys comes on and goes, "Last man, let's get the hell out of here." So you guys jump in, and all the biometrics,
very organized and well rehearsed.
All the biometric scanners you guys had got shot up and damaged through battle, and you got your high value target, but you couldn't positively identify your high value target. And so the option was carry the body or chop off the hand. So you guys chopped off their hand, and we carried it back. We flew it back to Tarankout, dropped you guys off. We repositioned back to parking, and we're going through the aircraft. We're fueling it. We're shutting it down. And then the call came, "Hey, we need one Chinook and 2 Apaches to drop this handoff." I'm like, "Drop a handoff? What are you doing a handoff?" And then I see in the bag there's a disembodied hand to fingerprint the high value target to say, yes, this person is now dead. And of course, the Americans can't do that under the law of war with the American government.
Right.
But the Australians can, which I found was pretty fucking badass. And you guys, when innocent bystanders would get hit and injured or whatever, we would bring them back to Camp Cole and let the medics work on the locals, and then we'd fly them back and drop them off, which I thought was honorable and which I thought was, very humane. So I hold the Australian.
I myself in 2012, mate, put a pint of my own blood straight into an Afghani, mate, straight out of my arm. Yeah, I've done that.
Yep. So I hold the Australian Special Operations teams to the highest regard, because you guys are so badass. You guys just go out, you handle business, you do what you got to do, and you use your weapons as a last resort. That's my interpretation. I mean,
We used to say we go to war not because we hate who's in front of us, it's because we love who's behind us.
yes, and who's alongside of you.
Ah,
You know,
10 toes,
and the
mate.
same thing here. I mean, there's no better love of a brother than you said, here's my life, protect it, and I will protect yours.
No, mate, it's the best feeling. The best feeling in the world, mate. I miss it every fucking day, mate.
I don't miss the drama and the politics of the military, but I miss taking care of soldiers.
Ah, mate, it was an honor, mate. I loved it. I loved it. being a sergeant, mate. And I found too, mate, operating so much because every time I went over to Afghan, mate, I was there just in the fighting seasons. I never got to experience a winter there, so I never saw it turn off. And the 2 seasons I was there, 2010 and 2012, we lost the most Australian soldiers, mate. You know, we lost. That was the worst 2 bloodiest years in Afghan, mate. And yeah, it was, yeah. Just getting a bit overwhelmed thinking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. But we honor those who paid the ultimate sacrifice.
You know,
In the war on terrorism and any other wars that they fought. We have Memorial Day here in May, and one of the things I like to do, it's a federal holiday here for us, so we have the day off of work, and what I like to do is I like going to the veteran cemeteries and visiting my friends who are there, people I served with, and I bring a pocket full of change because, there are some soldiers I served with that I didn't go to combat with, but there are soldiers I went to combat with that are there. And, and the tradition here is if you leave a penny on the tombstone, you knew them. You leave a nickel on the tombstone, you served with them. If you leave a dime there, that you served with them and knew them well. And if you leave a quarter with them, you served with them in combat.
Right.
So I bring 4 quarters, a bunch of dimes, and a whole bunch of pennies. And I think this man going to take a trip down to Pennsylvania to visit one of my door gunners who lost his battle with PTSD. And I couldn't go to his funeral because I was deployed.
Okay. I've lost my mates, mate, and unfortunately they hung themselves on the morning of Anzac Day, mate, 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yep. I lost an 03, a captain and officer, to his battle of PTSD right before I deployed on my last deployment, and we were able to go to his military funeral and be there for him and his family. And it's horrible. It's horrible because just a few short years earlier, he was up in Mazar Sharif,
right,
up in northern Afghanistan.
Right.
I mean,
we don't
far north of Afghanistan.
We don't have a military burial ground in Australia as such, mate. We have the war memorial where we remember soldiers that were fallen, but for soldiers like a veteran, if he hanged himself or if he shot, he's buried wherever his family decides to bury them. So we don't sort of have the way that you did that with how you got someone you can go and visit and you can do that dime and the quarter thing, mate. That's fucking so neat. That's I wish we like that. I mean, I'm envious of that.
That tradition goes back to the Civil War, believe it or not. Leaving the coins at the tombstone.
I could tell speaking history. You could just tell by the way the way it is. So you can tell that's An awesome custom and tradition.
Yeah, and I honor it, and I honor those who paid the ultimate sacrifice, whether it was during or post deployment. And I buried more soldiers post deployment than I did on deployment. I can honestly say, out of every deployment, we came home with everybody living and breathing, and every military funeral was post deployment, whether it was a vehicle malfunction or suicide.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I'm gonna put this out. I'm gonna put my NCO hat on. You know, us being men and soldiers, we always think asking for help is beneath us and weak, when in fact it's just the opposite. Where if you ask for help, if you need help, if you find yourself in a bad way and you reach out to somebody, that person better answer the phone and get you the help you need, or just be there to listen. Sometimes that's all you need, is just someone there to sit there and says, "Look, brother, I know what you're going through. I was there
You're
with
not
you."
alone. You're not alone.
Be there for them. And post-traumatic stress disorder, which is called after the war on terrorism. Before that was shell shock or trench foot or the 1,000-yard stare from
1,000-yard stare.
Vietnam. Be there for your brothers and sisters.
Hypervigilance.
Yes. Be there for your brothers and sisters. I am my brother's keeper. And my brothers being saying my brothers, I have sisters I served with. I am their keeper as well. I've suffered through it, and I've found a way to deal with it. And, if you could just save one person, and here in the United States, we have a thing of 22 a day. 22 servicemen commit suicide due to the loss of the battle.
22 veterans a day in America to suicide. Did you hear that? That's fucking disgusting.
Yep.
And
we could lower that number even by one each month. In less than 2 years, there'll be 0 suicides of veterans. And all it takes is that one person to sit there, answer the phone, talk to them, be understanding. You don't have to go out and have a beer. Go out and have some coffee, because sometimes alcohol can be part of the problem.
Yeah, those. You feel very alone, mate, because you got to reach out. You got to reach out to someone, mate, and just talk to them. Every time you talk about it and you feel a little bit comes off, you don't get over it, but every time you can talk about it and invest your vulnerabilities into another man and him back to you, a little bit comes off your shoulders and you grow a little bit.
Yes.
And you get the confidence to do it to another guy, and we start to spread the fucking love. And this is how we try and come out of this mental health hole that we're all fucking stuck in.
Yeah. It doesn't matter if you're the most high-speed, low-drag soldier to the soldier that just got by. It affects us all. And, we all saw horrific things, and we all have done horrific things for the betterment of our own countries and the betterment of humankind.
Fucking nice.
Let's not add to the tragedy. Let's, instead of being part of the problem, let's all be part of the solution of ending veteran suicide, dealing with those demons. It's horrible. It really is.
The statistics for veteran suicide in Australia is 2 a week. But considering how many people deployed for us, you're thinking there's only 800 Australians ever at one time in Afghan, and there's only about 200-300 in Iraq. So, our odds are like.
That's 2 a week. That's 4 too many.
Fucking oath, mate. Nice.
My wife's uncle, may he rest in peace, Uncle Len. He was a guy who was in World War II.
Lest we forget.
He was a soldier that was there storming the beaches in Normandy in France, was at the Battle of the Bulge, was in every major engagement throughout World War II. And on his deathbed, He looked at me and my wife and says, well, cancer's doing what the Germans couldn't do.
What a fucking tough motherfucker.
Let me tell you something. That little old son of a bitch at 70 years old, 70, all of 5'5", built like a fucking brick shithouse. Grab his rickety old wooden ladder, grab 2 bundles of roofing shingles, throw them on his shoulder, and run up that fucking ladder and start roofing a house. 70 years old.
Built different, eh? Just built different.
We say here in American that the World War II vets and people of that time was the greatest generation. And
Yeah,
I
mate.
tend to agree. They were the greatest generation. My generation might not be the greatest, but I served with a lot of the greatest of my generation.
Me too. Me too.
You know?
Unfortunately, it looks like people think freedom is free. It seems like every generation has had to fight for freedom. Not one generation's escaped it yet. But it's been
No,
Vietnam,
it's paid in blood.
it's been World War II, Korea. Fuck. You know, so all these woke cunts that don't want to fucking sign up, mate, you know, like it's going to come to conscription if you don't volunteer and get some patriotism.
Yeah,
I mean,
I laughed because I work at a university, and there's some of the faculty members says, "Oh, you were a soldier? Oh, you must not be well educated." What?
Some of the smartest men I've ever met in my life, mate, were soldiers.
Yeah, I mean,
Talk
now,
about making the right decisions under pressure, mate. That's what soldiers are brilliant.
if you want to make, sergeant major E9 or E8, it's not required, but it's strongly suggested you have a bachelor's degree.
Right.
If you're an officer, if you want to make O3, you better have a bachelor's degree.
Yep.
Because you could be commissioned as an officer with an associate's degree. But if you want to be made captain, you have to have that bachelor's degree. And if you want to be made colonel, you have to have a master's degree.
And you
And
can
that's
understand why, because you see the paperwork and all the bureaucracy, and they're almost like a politician at those ranks. You understand that you need to have that level, because it's just paperwork, mission analysis, risk assessments, fucking, all the kit that needs to be serviced, and mate, it's just fucking bullshit.
As a senior leader, we have extra duties that we have to perform. And I had 2 extra duties, which were not small extra duties I had to perform. One was the sexual harassment rape prevention NCO, which I had to get DOD certified on. And the second one I had was the safety NCO, which means no matter what the company did, I had to fill out a risk assessment, whether we were just showing up to drill and doing maintenance and flying, training missions. I had to do a risk assessment for each event. Now, if we went to the range and shot live fire, that risk assessment is about 300 pages because we have to fill out, we have templates for it now, but the initial risk assessment at a live fire range is extremely high.
Bro,
Why is extremely high?
Yeah.
Same thing with,
mate.
now try taking that risk assessment and applying it to an aerial gunnery where all the crew members are getting qualified with their weapons in the air, shooting at targets on the ground.
I could just imagine.
You're multi-ship, so the risk assessment is extremely high. What's the extremely high? Loss of a helicopter and life. Because you have the potential of shooting down one of your own helicopters on a training mission.
Oh yeah.
So
I've seen some of the some training, mate.
My extra duties as a senior leader in the U.S. Army, they were some pretty serious, intensive training I had to go through to get certified. I mean, I had to go to Washington, D.C. to get certified as a sexual harassment rape prevention NCO. And at my job, they're like, "Oh, you need to take these sexual harassment classes." I'm like, I'm certified by the federal government. Like, okay, but you still have to do it. I'm like, okay, I'll do it. It'll take you 40 hours to do it. I says, all right, I'll go upstairs and start it. 20 minutes later, yeah, I'm done. I got 100. Like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I'm certified in this. I know how to handle all these situations with the Department of Defense, which is the federal government.
Yeah.
And it's to the point now the Human Resources Department, they look at me and says, can we have a copy for that? Because our insurance company will accept that.
Hey mate, what's the best charity for vets in Australia in your opinion, please? I reckon Mates for Mates. That's a pretty good charity. I see them out there a lot, mate, doing real stuff. So yeah, Mates for Mates is a good charity, mate. And it's run by vets too.
I don't know if you have it in Australia, but it's rampant here in the United States. It's stolen valor, where these guys claim to be veterans and need help. And
Right.
they'll hold up signs, homeless veteran hungry, please help. And I go up to them, you need help. You're a homeless veteran? Yeah. Okay, good. Come on, let's go. I'm going to take you to the VA. I'm going to get you plugged into the system and we're going to get you going. No, just give me a couple bucks. No. A couple bucks ain't going to help you.
Yeah, right.
This will help you. Well, I can't go to the VA. Why? Because I'm really not a veteran. I said, you lying motherfucker. Get the fuck out of my face.
Wow. Nah, I've heard about guys, on Remembrance Day and on Anzac Day putting on medals and fucking, trying to, say they've done this and they've done that and being fake. Fuck. I'm pretty contained this day and age. I just try to be as kind as I can, put my best foot forward. But
Yeah,
if I come across some motherfucker, mate, with stolen valor on Anzac Day, bro, it'll take everything from me to rip. I'll at least rip his uniform off him, but rip that kind of part, bro.
And you could spot
doing it.
If they're wearing a uniform, you could spot stolen valor because it doesn't make sense. They have one rank here and a different rank here. They'll have like Navy medals and Air Force medals on the Army uniform, and they're like, yeah.
It sticks out like fucking dog's balls, mate. They've got no idea. They've got no idea how the uniforms to be worn. They got the Australian flag on the wrong fucking sleeve. It's like, well, you got to walk up to them and go, tell me what your fucking regimental number is. Tell me who your recruit instructor is. What IETs did you go through? When did you deploy? When did you enlist? When was your fucking, end date? I know all that shit off the top of my head, like every soldier does, bro. And if they
it's like I talk to fellow paratroopers, and they're like, yeah, man, you were, yeah, I was a paratrooper. I says, I'm class of 4489, Delta Company out of Fort Bragg when I graduated jump school. They're like, holy shit, how do you remember that? Because I experienced it. I lived it.
You get burnt into your head.
Yeah. I know my chalk number, which was E301, because I was enlisted and I was number 301 in the class. That shit's burned into your head. It's burned into memory.
Oh, mate, I still remember the serial number of the rifle I carried in 2012.
Yeah. It's like I could look at a picture of a desert or the mountains of Afghanistan that I took, and I could tell you exactly where that is and exactly what I was doing that time when I took that picture.
Yeah, me too.
And they're like, how do you remember that? Because I lived it. I experienced it. It's part of who I am.
Here you go. You'll have a chuckle at this one then. I think I've got it here. We at one of the fucking patrol bases, the Americans came in with some excavation gear and we tried to make a swimming pool at forward operating base Hadrian. And all the boys were too scared to get in it, so I jumped in. I think we've got a photo of me in the pool.
That's awesome.
Oh, here it is.
Oh, right on.
That's at a fob, mate.
Yeah.
The water was pretty putrid, so I didn't put my head under. But the soldier's like, "Oh, can we get in there?" And I'm like, fuck it, I've got to go. I'm not coming all the way out here to fucking check this thing out.
Hey, we did that shit in Iraq. We made little pools and stuff to cool off because during the highest I saw in Kuwait on the flight line was 156 degrees Fahrenheit. That's a fucking hot day.
I saw
I
72
mean,
degrees.
on our helicopters, our free air temp would peg out at 50 degrees Celsius, and I would see that thing go past 50 and keep going. I'm like, holy shit, it's fucking hot.
Yeah, mate. Yeah. It was pretty lucky because for us guys, mate, we like to operate in hot environments, mate, because that's where we train mostly in Australia. Is super fucking, like, where I train up in, Townsville and the outback, mate, even in the winter time, it's fucking over 100 degrees
Out
Fahrenheit,
in the bush, right?
Right. Well, you see all the British and all the Americans come in and they got that week or two where they're fucking dealing with the heat and they're sort of climatizing, whereas us Australians, we can come in and operate immediately because it's pretty much the same environment. Like Afghan really wasn't that big a deal to me. Even in the hottest days, Iraq that had some fucking wicked heat. That was like, whoa, it's hot here. But it still didn't stop me from operating in the heat of the day. I wasn't too concerned because I was used to doing it back in Australia, so yeah, the hot environments, I didn't mind.
And I used to dread sundown in Kuwait because you're in Kuwait, it's fucking hot. The sun is blazing.
Kuwait was ridiculous.
As soon as you sweat, it dried. But as soon as that sun was setting, the humidity shot up and you were soaked in sweat head to toe.
Yeah,
So I used to wait till after sunset to go shower.
Oh, shit. Oh, saved by the fucking power cord. Shit.
Yeah.
What about here? I just saw more Afghan photos I had here. Some Afghanis.
Yep. We weren't allowed to take pictures of the Afghanis.
Some
And,
boys.
right outside of Camp Holland, there was that airport terminal that the civilians would fly
One of my
into.
big photos up in this house. Sorry, mate.
Yeah. And, we weren't allowed to take their pictures. Oh, there you go. Sunsets there were amazing.
Oh, mate, some of them were just insane.
I used to love watching the runway, the C-17s, the big cargo Air Force jets with planes would come in and land.
Yeah.
They would offload there at the terminal, taxi back out and take off. And I'd see them take off into the mountain. So if you're walking outside of Camp Holland, to the right, that big fucking mountain out in the distance. And I would sit there and say, holy shit, that plane's going to hit the mountain. That plane's going to hit the mountain when I first got there. And then it disappears into the mountain. And the next thing you know, you see it climb out over that mountain. Well, I did an insertion on that mountain. It was 21,000 feet above sea level. I was like, holy shit, that's a big fucking mountain.
Mate, that was the first time in Australia we don't have mountains, right? We don't have any mountains. Like Mount Kosciuszko is like 8,000 feet and you can walk up to the top and walk down, mate, with your kids, right? Like it's not, there's no mountains in Australia, so I don't really have any concept of mountains. And when I got to Afghanistan, mate, in TK, the first day that fucking tail come down and I saw what you were saying, I saw those mountains and they were still snow-capped. I was in fucking awe. I was like, this is what mountains are. Holy fucking shit.
And they're beautiful. They're beautiful. I used to wake up, open up the door to my chew, look at the mountains, and I'd sit there and say, love these fucking mountains. They're gorgeous. They're majestic. When the dust got a day where there weren't too many operations and dust was down, mate, you could see so far out towards the Hindu Kush. And you could see in Taranket, you could see the bowl you're sitting in, you could see the mountain ranges, how you're in this sort of big bowl. But between the mountain ranges were the valleys, that we were exploiting. And it was just like I was yourself, I'd sit there on sunset, mate, we finished the job or whatever, and you're sitting there and you're watching the sun go down, you go, if these motherfuckers sorted their shit out, this would be a great place to come to do adventure stuff. Skiing, 4-bying, off-road motorcycling, side-by-sides. It would be the place to go and do adventure sports. There's no trees to run into with ski and snowmobiles. One of our door gunners did a deal with one of the contractors who had a local motorcycle, 150cc single cylinder motorcycle that had all Arabic writing on it. So I couldn't tell you the manufacturer of it. And he did the drain statement. He drained all of oil and all the fuel out of it. And, we packed it up in a Connex to bring it home. It made as far as Kandahar where customs says you cannot take this home. There's no bill of sale and there's no title.
Wow.
So it sat there on the ramp in a box. And I went there. That was in 2013. I was in Kandahar in 2015. I went out to the flight line and I found the box. I opened it up and the motorcycle's still in there, now covered in dust. I took a picture of it and I sent it to him. I says, "Hey, your bike is still here waiting for you."
Oh no! Wow.
That was like one of three boxes left on the flight flight line because they closed the whole flight line because they were retrograding and shutting down Kandahar. And when they started to do that, Taliban forces were increasing, so they stopped the retrograde and started to build it back up.
Mm. If you look at it, where Kandahar base was, it was quite, quite a dangerous place. You know what I mean? You can see why it was so big because it was quite a, like in a fucking hot spot, really. You know?
Yeah. Rocket attacks were a daily thing. We're sitting here. We left Karen Cow. We're done with our mission. We're waiting on a plane to go home, and we're laying in the transient tents, literally, 60-man tents, and we're laying there, and I'm laying in bed. One of my squad leaders is right next to me. One of our privates is over there, and we hear the rocket go right overhead. And Jesse was my private at the time. And Jesse looks at me and says, "Sarge, that's what I think it is." It's like, yeah, it is. And then it goes off. The alarms go off, and it's like 3 a.m. And they're like, "Oh, we got to get to the bunker. We got to get to this bunker." I said, "Fuck the bunker, man. It's 3 a.m. Stay in bed. I'm going to get up. And I'm going to do my head count. Report to the commander. Hey, Delta Company's up." And I did. And he's like, "So where's Delta Company?" I said, "They're sleeping in their bunks. The rocket attack's over. They launch 3 rockets and they leave. All 3 of them hit. They always, hit something stupid.
The chances of actually getting hit is you'd have to be fucking unlucky. It's such a big base. Yeah. You'd have to be unlucky. Like,
even in TK, the chances of getting hit were very slim. We had 3 rocket attacks while we were in TK, and that was it. And 2 out of 3 rocket attacks, it was the locals who brought the guys in to turn them in that fired the rockets.
Fucking pricks.
But no, it was the locals from the Tarrant Count locals turned in the guy. We didn't have to send anybody out to go get them or find them. They turned them in because they were like, "Hey, you turn them in, we'll get you air conditioning, we'll get you heat, we'll get you, solar panels, we'll give you whatever you want. You turn them in." And the locals were like, "Okay."
Yeah, 2010, bro. I found out what 107mm rockets were. That I can tell you that, bro. They were fucking. We had to change the way we did accommodation in TK, mate. They were fucking blowing the shit up, our accommodation up, mate. It was fucking hectic, bro. I nearly lost a couple of lads. I actually had to do some stitch work I'd got a bit of fucking because in TK there's a lot of gravel.
Yeah.
So if it's an area they come in shallow and then they excavate that gravel, to about 400 feet, 800 feet per second, and it turn it into shrapnel itself, So it was fucking, and that would shoot out like 100 meters, blow our fucking winds and shit.
You'll laugh. We had one mortar hit inside a TK, and it hit the shit pond.
Oh, how much do you have in your bowl? Nothing.
Literally, there was shit everywhere.
Hey, can you ring Dylan? Well, you can ring Dylan. He'll come straight over. Yeah, mate, the shit ponds. We used to joke. I used to do a morning report. One of the boys used to GoPro out, and they used to do the morning report. And we got told, by our health when we get over there, so right over, 9 months deployment, you will inhale and consume about a Mars bar size fucking shit of human shit, because we're just living with open shit fields. They're right there. You drive past them, and it's literally bigger than a football field, 6 foot deep of just fucking shit. Just sort of baking there.
When
And
it
on the
would
wrong
rain,
on the wrong day when that wind blows the wrong way, it's just like you're fucking there right in someone's fucking asshole all day.
yep. And when it would rain, it would overflow, and it would
Yep.
flow underneath the Camp Cole chow hall. So
Yep.
literally, you got a shit river underneath you trying to eat lunch.
Yep. I remember we had to restrict toilet flushing. You couldn't shower when those fuckers overflew. That was it. We had to restrict water, mate, straight away in the place because of that reason. It was just it starts getting hectic, and then it starts becoming a biohazard.
Yeah.
And you can't
It
shit
should
in any of the port. You can't shit in the portaloos because all the fucking locals that we hire shitting in them, and it's fucking different colours of liquid green and pink and fucking there's shit all over the place. The dirty bastards.
Yep, they're disgusting. Oh,
Hey Rob, I think I'm really I've got to go and have to do some stuff now, mate.
yeah, right on.
So, but
Hey,
mate,
before I forget, everybody in the side chat, if you haven't already, make sure you like, subscribe, and then comment after the end of this live, because the likes and the comments after the live are the two biggest matrices on YouTube. Let's help him out. You know, give him all the likes and the comments as we can. That's awesome. Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it.
it's
I
an honor,
enjoyed
mate.
chopping it up with you. Had a lot of fun tonight. You know, it's already 11 o'clock my time.
No, no,
And,
it's just good to be able to sit
The
down,
whiskey
mate.
thing gone, so I got to go get more.
God bless you, mate. It's been great, Rob,
Bless you
mate.
too.
It's a pleasure to have you. It's been an honour. It's great to talk to you, mate. Go backwards and forth. We've got to do it again. I really enjoy your company.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I try and catch your lives at work, and you know, grateful I was able to catch it Friday morning. And I had an hour or two to kill to hang out with you and Jack 420 and everybody else.
Thank you so much, mate. I appreciate your time. I really do, and I really love what you're doing with the Harley and with the homeless vets, mate. I think that's fucking outstanding, and that's leading by example, and it's fucking its actions are louder than words, mate. So big love, mate, from my family
Much
to your
love,
family.
honor,
Love.
respect to you and everybody in the side chat.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Thanks, mate.
All right. Peace.
Peace, buddy. All right. Catch you later, guys. Thanks for everything. Today's been great. I bet you guys got a lot out of that. I appreciate any of the rewatches that come back and rewatch. I've been looking forward to doing this. That was a great chat. I loved all the history that Rob had in southern Iraq. You know, like that was some crazy. That was like I never got to get down there and see any of that stuff. I heard a thing here and I heard a thing there, but nothing like that. You know, absolutely amazing career. And what he's doing now is actually fucking stand up. Awesome. I really enjoyed that. That was good. I liked it. So thanks, guys, for watching. Appreciate you all. Much love. I'll see you in the traps tonight or something. Okay, I gotta go do some shit. That was awesome.